Okay, that should set me live. How's it going, everybody? I'll need a mic check from those in chat. What's up, Sam Kaufman? Hello, Caliph. How's it going? Thanks for joining me for this index review. Before we get into it properly, the channel grew to 19,000 subscribers today, which is, I don't know, puts something of a feather in my cap, you know? So it's much appreciated. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Hey, friendly neighborhood inquisitor, how's it going? How's it going? I have some background music on. If it's too loud, let me know. But I think looking at the OBS levels, it should be all right. Mic is good. Right on. All right, so let's get into the review, shall we? I am using the reordered PDF that I put together because GW's was in a terrible mismatched order. So you can download that in the description of this live stream. That's the one I have here. Just checking my OBS to make sure it's all displaying correctly. Perfect. Yep, so Oaths of Moment. The ability we've all come to adore. Reroll hits and wounds against a single target set in your command phase. Really potent against low model count elite armies like knights, right? But I think most players, given how marine heavy metas tend to be, you're probably going to want to play MSU most of the time anyways. Oh, thanks, Caliph. I appreciate that you enjoyed that Dark Eldar review. Yeah, I try to keep my biases in check, but we all have our biases, right? So I try not, I don't know. Usually it makes me more negative than positive, I find. Okay, combat doctrines, working the way they did in 7th edition. Chosen in the command phase, you can choose one of the three to last for the phase, or until your next command phase. And each gives you a particular benefit. Each can only be used once per game. Devastator doctrine is to shoot in a turn in which you advanced. Which is essentially the perk of assault weapons, right? So assault weapons have less to gain from Devastator doctrine. Tactical doctrine allows you to shoot and declare a charge. Shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which you fall back. And assault doctrine is advance and charge. So when this was previewed, I immediately just looked at these new combat doctrines and looked at our Oaths of Moment army rule, and I was like, wow, what an excellent toolkit to play with. Because it's extremely flexible, right? Army-wide, shoot and charge on a turn when you, like, that's just a real good set of aces to have in your back pocket for all of these. Alright, so I have them ordered here in, based on a loose force org of captains. I guess we'll just go down the list. That makes the most sense. Good point, friendly neighborhood inquisitor. Good point. Can't expect them to put it all together. Alright, captains. I need to stretch this out a little bit more. I just hope the stream doesn't get wrecked. It should be okay. Should be okay for you guys watching, I think. I can zoom out just a touch. Alright, just do like a 225. Maybe a bit more. That should be better. Right, so the captain. The first point of comparison I need to check is captains versus Primaris captains. How are they sitting relative to one another? Right, so captain is 6435, leadership 6, 10C. Primaris captain is both 5 wounds. Same movement and attacks. A normal captain has, 6 base attacks with a combat weapon, 7 with chainsword, and our Primaris captain is 6 base attacks. So that's actually very satisfying to me. There's no longer, as far as I can tell, a performance differential between your Primaris captains and your regular captains, which definitely serves my bias with my converted Primaris-looking jump pack captain, who's always had to use this data sheet here, the firstborn, just because there's no jump pack options for Primaris. I'm just reading your comment here, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. Fun fact, due to what I assume is a typo, the Primaris captain has the Primaris keyword. Is that a typo? Should he not have the Primaris keyword if he is a Primaris Marine? I don't know if there's any interaction between Primaris and non-Primaris. So that was the sales pitch, right? Primaris captain, there would no longer be a bias in the transports. We can take a look at that once we get there, though they are towards the bottom. Okay, so the captain's signature ability. I mean, weapon profiles, you guys point out if there's anything worthy of note. To be perfectly blunt, this PDF is so much larger than the NIDS, so we're going to have to go at a quicker pace. So I'll count on you guys to tell me to scroll back up if I miss something. Rites of Battle. Yeah, that's the captain ability. I think we started to see it elsewhere. The Hive Tyrant had something similar, right? If I just grab that. Hive Tyrant, Will of the Hive Mind. Similar. That's same, but different. Still same. With Will of the Hive Mind. Okay, I see what you're saying, Inquisitor. I see what you're saying. Okay, so the Primaris captain has Finest Hour, as does the normal captains. So for all intents and purposes, they're the same base guy, just the war gear options are different, and from what I can tell, the models he can lead are different, which is somewhat annoying. I do have a gripe with this in the codex. Sorry, one sec, guys, one sec. Where can you go to follow this Omnissiah Sphinx? I have a link to this PDF if that's what you're referencing. The link is in the description of this stream. It should be there, and it should be working. If it's not, definitely let me know. Okay, so yeah, Assault Squad, Command Squad, Tactical Squad, Vanguard, Veteran Squad. Basically, he can lead guys he looks like. And that what's formulating that opinion is the captain with the jump pack can only lead guys with jump packs, which makes sense. You want to keep your guys with good movement together. Though, what's up with this inconsistency, GW? Because what's going on with these stupid warriors, man? What's going on with this guy? How come he can lead like he has 12-inch move? Well, I guess because they're like, hey, come on. I feel like you should be able to lead anyone, right? This guy. At least the jump pack captain. He can move 6 inches if he wants to. Regardless, his unique ability is Angel's Wrath. While this model is leading a unit, each time that unit ends a charge move, so it only works when you charge, until the end of that turn, add 1 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. So it's a buff for everybody, which is proportionally more potent than just affecting him. Unlike Finest Hour, right? Because Finest Hour is once per battle at the start of the phase, he can add 3 to his attacks and gain devastating wounds. I'm sorry, I get so annoyed now because my captain has a Thunderhammer because I thought it was in line with the Salamander's way. I gave him a Kit Bash Thunderhammer, and now I'm looking at it. Okay, so when my guy, well, he won't have Finest Hour because he has a jump pack, so I guess it's a non-issue. But this guy, like if you had a captain on foot, which is possible, you get no benefit. You get no benefit from. Well, you wouldn't get. You get +3 attacks, which isn't nothing. I just hate when you gain abilities you already have. Because Because the Thunderhammer relative to the Power Fist, this is what I was talking about yesterday. You look at this. 5 attacks, worse weapon skill. Power Fist, 5 attacks, regular weapon skill. Same strength, same AP, same damage. What you're getting, you're taking a consistent performance hit with worse weapon skill for a potential gain. It's like a bad trade. Thunderhammers have really fallen from where they were. The disparity between those two weapons has really been tightened up, and I think it's, to be frank, it's kind of an overcompensation. Especially if you have Finest Hour, because then I think you begin to feel real poor about your cool guy on foot with the Thunderhammer. Mally, you're right. 8 attacks is nothing to sneeze at, but you already have devastating wounds. That's my point. That's my point. Assume it's only a problem for guys on foot with Thunderhammers. That's it. Or sorry, captains on foot with Thunderhammers. Okay, jumping back to our jump pack captain. I also, sorry, I just get so distracted. Look how awesome this artwork is. Yeah, it's not the finest. It's like kind of, abstract. It's not very clearly defined, but it's just beautiful looking. I wonder if that's going to be the new Codex art. No, it won't be. It's not. It'll be in the new Codex, though, for sure. Oh, it's so cinematic. Anyways, Angel's Wrath. Better strength. Better strength. So if you have Vanguard veterans, I'm going to jump around a little bit. I just want to see, like, how much can you squeeze out of this. Or maybe we'll look at an assault squad with jump packs first. So you'd have +1 strength on all of their weapons. So strength 5 chainswords. I mean, yeah, even if you just have chainswords on your assault marines, that's not terrible. Getting to strength 9 from strength 8 can also make a difference against rhinos. Lightning Claws are twin linked, they don't care too much. And then Vanguard veterans have more or less the same war gear, right? Oh no, they have heirloom weapons now, so they would go up to strength 6. That's funny. That's a funny weapon consolidation. Heirloom weapons. Okay. But they would have lethal hits also. So that your jump pack captain would give them strength 6 and hit rolls of critical hits of 6 would auto wound anyways. Interesting. And if we jump back to the what's their ability? You always have to factor in their ability now with how these units are. Each time a unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit within engagement range. Oh, mortal. Okay, it's like that. Yeah, Hammer of Wrath. Okay. So I guess he makes them better. He makes them a bit better. Jump pack captains and captains overall seem to be less of a kill button in general, especially with how Thunderhammers have been dialed back. I think it's better for the game though, but that's my desire for my jump pack captain. It's my bias. Let's just be real. I want my jump pack captain to be awesome with his Thunderhammer. I mean, Salamanders players will know how epic the Drake Smiter is when it pops off. So to go from the Drake Smiter to this piddly Thunderhammer here is very like, ugh. It's a very it does not spark joy. Okay, let's continue our captain, our journey through the captains. Yeah, Primaris Captain, we've already seen on preview. He has Finest Hour as well. That's a fun ability, you know. I don't think that's bad at all. It is pretty cool. Appropriately named, I think it'll be satisfying to use. Will the VOD stay up after the Scream Grim Dankness? Yes, it should. I believe it should. Now you got me wondering what I said it as. If I go into edit, what does it say here? I should be able to after the fact. It's not going to get deleted, for sure. I know that. But I don't think I can set it here while it's live. I don't think so. All right, Mal. Yeah, good point. So I reused the same settings, so it should stay up as well. Let us carry on. Primaris Captain gets to go with these units here, with the Primaris units that look like him. Well, in the Tacticus armor, right? That's the idea here. Assault Intercessor Squad. These have asterisks, Infernus, Regular Intercessor, and Stern Guard. This model cannot be attached to a Blade Guard veteran squad. I find it... it's so annoying. Unless it is equipped with a Relic Shield and cannot join a Hellblaster squad. Unless it's a Plasma Pistol. That's... what? Why? So just because he has the option to take a Plasma Pistol, he can't join a Hellblaster squad unless he's using it. But for the Infernus squad, a squad that's using all Flamers, comparably like Hellblasters use all Plasma... He can join that squad regardless of what he's using. It's so awkward. I don't like that at all. Like really, he should be able to go with whoever, right? I mean, some exceptions I understand. I think the armor mark does have a nice appeal in certain cases, but if he's your leader, like for instance, there's no chapter master data sheet here, and my chapter master is I gave him Gravis armor converted, and so now he can't go with a group of veterans because there's no veterans in Gravis, right? He has to go with, as we'll see, the Gravis units. It's very awkward the way they've done the leadership here. All right, Captain Phobos armor. Instigator Bolt Carbine is precision still, which is cool. Hits on 2s. 4 minus 2, 2 is very, not bad. I think it's fine. Right? He's got stealth, so he's -1 to hit always, representing his camo cloak, I think. Wait, or is that a cape? I can't remember his model anymore. He has rights of battle like every other captain. And Master of Deceit. After both players have deployed their armies and determined who has first turn. If your army includes one or more models with this ability, you can select up to 3 friendly Adeptus Astartes Phobos or Scout Sniper squads, and redeploy all those units. And when doing so, you can put them into strategic reserves. Okay, so they've taken one of the Phobos. Well, they've adapted one of the Phobos Warlord traits and baked it into him, which is pretty cool. Being able to win deployment is good, but it is only for Phobos units, so it's really kind of positioning. Well, it's as restrictive as it was before. It actually might be a bit more open, because I don't know if the Warlord trait used to do Scout units. Good point, CS. Good point. Yeah, it was a 3 damage weapon. I still don't think 2 damage is bad, but it does make him a bit more tame. Because, yeah, it used to be 3 damage, and what did people do? They used to put +1 damage mastercrafted weapon on that. So now it's a 4 damage, but... Oh, sorry, now it's 2 damage rather than 3, but I still think having precision is really good. And who can he lead? Eliminator, Incursor, Reaver squad. Well, how can he join a Reaver squad if he doesn't have the Reaver weapons? Or, you see what I mean? That stupid plasma pistol on the Primaris captain. That's so dumb. Reaver squad, yes. That's cool that he can lead the scouts, though. Kind of like he can be the master of recruits, right? Oh yeah, they mention it here. 10th Company is... I think the 10th Company captain is the master of recruits. So that is kind of a very tasteful, fluffy pick. Captain in Gravis armor. This guy... Oh, he looks way cooler than the the Dark Imperium guy. Okay. So already T6, movement 6. So he's a swift, thick boy. 6 wounds, and the other guys were 5, right? Yeah. Okay, so what is his normal war gear? Because this is a little confusing. His normal war gear is a mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle and power weapon. And that is replaced with a power fist. Oh, okay, the bolt storm options here, right. Well, he has a power fist and a relic fist. What's a relic fist? I guess you can have a little mini Calgar, is that the idea? So I'm just, this gives me pause for thought, because I'm just thinking of my chapter master. I'm like, well, how would I gave him a chainsword. He doesn't have a power fist, though. I guess you just count it as a power fist and a chainsword. This guy kind of slaps, though, right? You got 5 attacks with your power fist. Not bad. And 3 extra chainsword attacks. They're 2 damage, AP 1. And he reduces damage. Oh, you know what? Oh, I totally fucked this up, guys. I totally fucked this up. We need to look at the detachment rule, or the enhancements. Enhancements and stratagems. Because I'm thinking, it always comes back to, sorry, like I look through the lens of my own chapter, and I'm like, oh, I used to upgrade my guy, so what are the upgrades here? Salamanders players will know we used to be able to make a T7 -1 to wound Gravis captain, which is pretty legendary. So let's take a look at the Gladius Task Force. Stratagems and Enhancements. We'll circle back. Sorry, guys, I got ahead of myself. Okay, only, yeah, so we have the combat doctrines there. Stratagems are here. Okay. Only death does duty end 2 command points. When the fight phase... Oh, sorry, you use it in the fight phase after an enemy has selected its targets. 1 Inceptors and Centurions unit from your army that was selected as a target of the attack until the end of... yeah, so this is the one that was previewed. So it's 2 command points, and if you have not fought, you get to fight before being destroyed. 2 command points, and the Tyranids had the same thing, no? Somewhere, Death Frenzy. Oh, theirs is 1 command point, but you have to roll. So theirs is definitely better for units. It would feel real bad to use it on a character, and then you don't even make the roll, right? So here it's very expensive, but you have a guaranteed fight on death, which is very valuable, obviously. Honor the chapter, fight phase. Oh my god. Until the end of the fight phase, melee weapons equipped by models in your army have the Lance ability. And Lance, I believe, is if you charge, it's +1 to wound. If your unit is under the effects of the Assault Doctrine, +1 AP as well. Wow, this is very epic. It's very good. +1 AP and +1 to wound. That is terrifying. Yeah, 1 CP. That's an easy workhorse. Hit above your weight class stratagem. And it's very, very epic, right? You send in a group to charge, and then, honor the chapter, brother. Then they have +1 to wound and +1 AP. Kind of wild. On Armor of Contempt, 1 CP again in your opponent's shooting phase after they target you. Okay, Armor of Contempt is Armor of Contempt, just now as a stratagem. Again, very good. It's a good 1 command point stratagem. All 3 of these are very good. The problem is, it's not a problem. I'll give my opinion on them after. Adaptive Strategy. This is one I saw on the Mini Wargaming Bat Rep that I watched the first quarter of. It lets you use another doctrine while one is active. Even if you've already selected it, which is, yeah, speaks to its namesake. Very adaptive. Storm of Fire. Whoops. Storm of Fire. In your shooting phase, until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by models in your unit have the Ignores Cover ability. And if your unit is under the effects of the Devastator Doctrine, more AP as well. Okay, so we have 2 stratagems that want to be used with... Oh, I guess each doctrine has a stratagem that is kind of better served by that particular doctrine, which makes sense. You want your... It makes sense to me. Like, each of these attachments are essentially a toolkit, a playstyle to work within. You want your stratagems to interact with them. I think it feels like good design to me. They shouldn't just be random. Yeah, Squad Tactics in your opponent's movement phase. So it's already very interesting. After they end a normal or fallback move, one Adeptus Astartes infantry or mounted, that is within 9 inches of an enemy unit that just ended their move. So if someone moves within 9 inches of a mounted or infantry unit, your unit can move d6 inches or normal move up to 6 inches. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, 1 CP to move 6 inches. If you're in Tactical Doctrine, that's you know, from a practical point of view, it's good. Yeah, these are a good batch of stratagems. What I was saying earlier, the problem, dare I say, is that it's a good problem to have. It's just the core rules, the core stratagems are already so good. Like, as I already mentioned, I think in some of the faction-focused previews, the Rapid Ingress, Overwatch, Heroic Intervention all seem like staples. Like, every game you want to be using those, I'd think. So, it's a good problem to have, is my point. Okay, let's take a look at these enhancements for the Gladius Task Force. Artificer Armor, give a character a 2-up, a 5-up, feel no pain. That's good, because all the captains had 3-up, as we saw. So you want to get your tanky captain. Give a 5-up, feel no pain. Oh yeah, so you could give your Gravis captain a 2-up armor save, T6, 6 wounds, 5-up, feel no pain, and what does he do? He halves damage or he minuses damage? He halves damage. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I like that. The Honor Vehement. Add 1 to the attacks and strength characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons. While the bearer is under the effects of the Assault Doctrine, add 2 to the attacks and strength. Wow! So you can get your T10, or sorry, Strength 10 Thunderhammer. And how many attacks base does the Thunderhammer have? 5, right? Because captains have 6 normally, but 5 with Thunderhammer. So you could get up to 7 attacks with your Thunderhammer. Not bad, it's Strength 10. And what do we have here? Adept of the Codex. Captain, only for captains, this one. On the start of your command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, instead of selecting a combat doctrine to be active for your army, you can select a tactical doctrine. But that is a combat doctrine. I guess they mean selecting a combat doctrine as normal, as you normally would. If you do until the start of your next command phase, that doctrine is active for the bearer's unit only. Okay, so it's only for his, even if you already have selected that combat doctrine. Okay, so instead of giving your whole army a combat doctrine, you can keep giving his unit tactical. And let's take a look again. What does tactical do? Gives you shoot and charge and turn which you fall back. So if you're very aggressive, or if you're fighting someone who's very aggressive even, it's not a bad one to give your captain. You know, keeps him flexible. And what's the last one here? Bolter Discipline. Any Adeptus Astartes character, while the bearer is leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models, and that unit have sustained hits 1. Only ranged weapons. And sustained hits, yeah, so critical hits would explode. And under the effects of the Devastator Doctrine each time, oh wow, 5+ criticals, but only in the Devastator Doctrine. So that'd be once per game you'd be able to benefit from, not sustained hits 2, critical hits on 5+. And you have a stratagem to keep reusing doctrines, right? Yeah, even if you've already selected the doctrine. So if you really wanted to, you could keep pumping adaptive strategy into that, well, into the whole army. It's for your whole army, right? No, it's only for 1 unit. So you could, yeah, it's situational to see how much you can tool up a ranged unit for exploding hits. Okay, let's continue on with our captains. Terminator cap. Oh wait, Gravis captains, where we were. Yeah, as I mentioned, Aggressor Squad, Eradicator Squad, Heavy Intercessor Squad. So my Chapter Master in Gravis cannot roll with veterans or a command squad, or that's kind of a bummer, like a narrative bummer. Captain in Terminator armor. Yeah, we've seen this data sheet because he's in that Leviathan preview that was released earlier this week. His abilities reroll charge rolls, which is yeah, it's fine. It's okay, it can make a difference, especially if you're deep striking and charging. I just abhor that strategy, right? I think you want to be making use of those assault ramps like we've seen personally, right? I mean, you could rapid ingress and then move and then charge. That's not too bad, but it all depends on like what can threaten you. So it's all situational. I do love this model though. Look at his the two tilting plates is a little overkill, but I love his sword. And he can lead, yep, all Terminators lead the same 3 units, just Terminators, makes sense. And Captain on Bike, look at this guy, still in the, well, I was going to say Codex, but he's still in the Index, which is nice. It's nice that he's here. His unique ability as a captain is models in the unit he's leading have assault on their ranged weapons, so you know, twin bolt guns. Oh yeah, so all twin. This might be a loser for twin linked, right? You're losing. I mean, you're always losing your volume, but yeah, bikes might not nearly be as scary because they just had such an insane volume of fire before, like each. It's like the firepower of 4 guys on one guy's base. But not anymore. I'm trying to take note of any other unique war gear here. Inferno pistols are here. D3 damage. That's weaker, right? That used to be D6 on Inferno pistol, I think. Grav weapons are now anti-vehicle 2+. That's what I expected. Yeah, with -1 AP. It's okay. Pretty sure they're AP3 now, right? Strength 5, AP3. 1 or 2 damage. And you get an extra damage if you shoot at something tough. And he has the same normal Astartes war gear with the captain amount of attacks. He's the last captain in this list. So, overall, what are the wins for captains? It's nice to see that Primaris captains aren't just, oh, I am better than your normal captains. Your firstborn guys are respected, which is nice. Respected by the rules is well, you gotta respect people's hobby efforts, right? The lamest part of the captains is probably how it's kind of the arbitrary leader of what they can lead. The arbitrary choices in which units they can lead. Yeah, in some cases I feel like why can't you join? I guess you can make an argument as to why they. Because like, what is his ability? Finest hour. It's individual. I'm just trying to think. If he were to lead, like, he's slower than a Gravis unit. It's not like you're putting him with jump axe and he can't keep up, right? So if he's faster than a unit of Gravis guys, why couldn't he? It just feels kind of awkward. Whatever. Let's move on. Lieutenants. So the lieutenant ability is lethal hits. The models they lead have lethal hits. And target priority for the standard lieutenant is he can give his model's unit shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which you fall back, which is essentially tactical doctrine, right? Shoot and declare charge in a turn in which you fall back. So that's well, I guess lieutenants keep your units more flexible, which is suitable. I suppose. I don't think there's any unique war gear here. 1 less wounded than the captain makes sense. And 1 less attack also. That is right. Yeah, normal captains had 6 attacks on close combat weapons. And he can join the same units as the normal captain. And we have a nice restriction here, or not a restriction, but an exemption for attaching him to units that already have a captain or chapter master. Which is fluffy, pretty cool. It's almost like a command squad. but not really. Primaris Lieutenant, same again. Yeah, these guys are 4 wounds also. Nice to see that. Not like it's better leadership either. That's cool. I'm really happy to see the firstborn units being treated well like that. The only point of disparity now is which units they can lead. There's still a line separating them from interacting properly. It feels very arbitrary because these guys are effectively the same unit, same profile, same ability, just some varying war gear options based on what we can buy in our world, which I never feel is the right principle we should follow for creating rules for their world, right? It's a little bit of dissonance in the design there. Oh, interestingly, he can join. Yeah, Hellblaster and Furnace. Okay, you know, same list as before, I think. Oh, but how come this guy doesn't need to have a plasma pistol to join the Hellblaster squad? What's the deal with that? Like, that's kind of weird to me. Same with the Blade Guard veterans, right? Like, why rules for thee and not for me between the captain and lieutenant? What's going on? Am I missing something here? Yeah, look at that. That's dumb. Small stuff. I'm not overall I'm pointing out what's annoying, obviously, but I'm not. When I was glancing through and when I was reformatting the PDF, I did like a lot of the things I was spotting. Lieutenant in Reaver armor. Why are there E's like 3s? Why do they use this font? It's bothering my OCD. Okay. Yeah, so tactical precision, lethal hits, and deadly terror. While this model is leading a unit, increase the range of its terror troops ability by 3 inches. And I assume Reavers? Yes. So let's take a look at the Reavers. Let's just jump ahead real quick. Reavers are under close support. So terror troops is enemy units within 6 inches of this unit. Each time they take a battle shock test or leadership test, they subtract 1 from that test. So that could, well, I need to see, like, it's hard to evaluate that for me right now because I haven't played the game. It's hard to quantify battle shock. It's hard to quantify all the variables that'll interact with leadership tests between the different armies that are out there, different units. So it's hard to kind of formulate a stance on that. But he makes them better, so I guess that's something for the Reaver Lieutenant. Combat knife. Oh, yeah. Precision. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, look at this. So the Reavers, just like the Hounds of Mordecai, kept the precision ability. My fear was that only Hounds of Mordecai would have precision, and Reavers would still be a nothing unit, but okay, so Reavers can be a kill squad. That in itself is scary for the player, and I think that's like nice rules mirroring game feel. That's very good. Okay. And he only joins Reavers, of course. So then we have our normal non-Reaver Phobos Lieutenant. No precision, but he was never a sniper guy. He just had a weird bolt gun. And paired combat blades now give sustained hits 1. No AP, but you have ways to give units AP with your Honor the Chapter stratagem, I think. So he has Infiltrators, Leader, Scouts 6. Interesting. Oh, we should check the abilities of the other Reaver Lieutenant, actually. So he doesn't have Deep Strike or anything, just the Scout 6, okay. Yeah, Infiltrator and Leader. So he can join your Infiltrators or Incursors, I would presume. Especially if he has Combat Blades. Yeah, okay, all 3. Now, I don't think he can give the Incursors, or I don't think he can give the Reavers Infiltrate. I don't think it works that way. But he should be able to Scout move with them just fine. Tactical precision, shoot and fade. Each in your shooting phase after this model's unit has shot, if it is not within engagement range of any enemy models, it can make a normal move up to d6 inches. Okay, so it's dicey, but it's free movement. You know, shoot and fade, pop out 6 inches and not fully get back in the cover. It's a bit weird. I mean, you could at least move towards something. It's free. It's a free movement. I don't think it'll be very effective for hiding yourself after exposing yourself to shoot. Yeah, Grimdankness. I did not see a rule to make chapter masters. Maybe when we see codexes, but honestly, like as much as I want to make a chapter master narratively, I kind of feel the game system, the paradigm, the environment, I guess, would be better if there's less rules creep and bloat per codex. If I could have it, I don't know, maybe there needs to be a distinction between tournament play and like regular matched play, which was kind of alluded to in the Forge World purge that happened last week, right? There's dialogue that sounded like that was a distinction. We'll have to see how that pans out. Because I love the idea of, like, you know, you're playing at you're just rolling some dice, beer and pretzel style. You want to throw your dudes on the table and have them play out live the dream, right? But from a purely competitive point of view, maybe, I don't know. I think things are surely going to be more balanced and even in an index environment, right? Than a codex being released over time. Once that kicks in, I don't know. We have to see. We have to see how it goes, but the trend is such that those first codexes come out and you're like, whoa, look at all the things I can do that you can't do, and I hope that's not the case. Okay, our last lieutenant is Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, the new guy, the new cool guy with that. Look at that Tyranid carapace. This is such a cool model, but he's got such a weird rule set. Anti-infantry combi. Oh yeah, the fucking combi weapons. Jesus. Okay, paired combat blades with anti-Tyranids, because he's a anti-Tyranid guy. So he is very different than all the other lieutenants. They've made him his own. Instead of making war gear options for the other two lieutenants in Phobos armor, we have a different kind of character, more like an assassin, or I guess an operative is the key word. He has a built-in Feel No Pain of 5+, which is good. I don't know why he has. I guess because he's a survivor, right? That's the idea. Lone Operative is very good. Stealth and Infiltrate. Because Precision doesn't ignore Lone Operative either, as far as I understand it. So he's, like, Lone Operative allows you to act with a lot of impunity. So his abilities are Priority Objective Identified. Aura. At the start of your first battle round, if your army contains one or more models with this ability, you can select one objective marker on the battlefield to be the priority objective. Until the end of that battle, while friendly objectives Astartes infantry is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that is within range of the priority target, reroll a wound roll of 1. So it's for shifting enemies off of a priority objective. I mean, it might be really good against armies that have particular mechanics that want to... Oh, I have a priority objective as well, and I have benefits for holding it. Or secondaries, which we have yet to see. It might be good for that kind of play. Just really help shift units off those key objectives. Evade and survive once per turn. When an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of this unit, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move. Wow, so you can just... you can just run away. What a coward. And he can't lead any units because he's a lone operative. Alright, Primaris Company Primaris Company Champion. Mastercrafted power weapon has precision. Nice. I like to see that. Just like the Deathwind champion. So all champions have precision on their melee. Very cool. Very thematic. It gives them some validity rather than just being some guy who has, oh, I reroll attacks against characters, and it's just kind of hard to fight characters in the game because nobody wants to put their characters in vulnerable positions, right? It gives you a reason to take these guys and attach them to units. He's a leader. And you can, put them with your assault intercessors or your blade guard. Pretty good. I like that. And while this model's leading unit, add 1 to advance and charge rolls. Add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for that unit. And you can target that unit with the heroic intervention stratagem for 0 CP. Even if you were to use that stratagem on a different unit this phase. Yeah, this is, I am almost certain, the same kind of ability set we've seen on the Deathwing champion. Still very effective at targeting characters, which he always will in melee. That's a fun unit. It'll actually be fun to build to fuel champions. I think it won't just be this flavorful pick that you're soaking points into. And I have a company champion for the Firekeepers. He's half painted. I just never got back to him because, well, let's be real. Like, sometimes it's hard to keep motivation high for painting things that you just aren't going to use. Actually, I want to see the core rules real quick. I want to verify if the Heroic Intervention Stratagem counts as a charge move, because then he adds 1 to that, right? Enhance. Okay. Yeah, your unit now declares a charge. That's pretty good. That's awesome. Rules are working together. I like it. Okay. Yeah, I think champions will be a thing. Primaris Ancient. War gear's pretty basic. Pretty basic war gear. Astartes Banner. While this model is leading unit, add 1 to the objective control characteristic of models in that unit. So yeah, I raised this question in one of the faction-focused videos. Does the Astartes Banner prevent you from dropping below OC1 when you're battle shocked? That's the question. Because if he's able to keep OBSEC, because like, I guess we're gonna see what battle shock does, right? I guess we gotta see. Battle shock. Okay. If you're below half strength, to do so, take a roll of 2d6. If the roll is greater than or equal to the leadership characteristic of that unit, the test is passed, otherwise you're battle shocked. So the OC characteristic of all its models is 0. Okay, it's not reduced to 0, it just is 0. So I would take that to mean he doesn't keep you from falling to 0 when battle shocked. He will just help you outscore people who have worse OC than the other unit, or comparable OC to the unit he's a part of. And Unbreakable Duty. While this model is within range of an objective marker, or within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield, oh, love it! He has a feel no pain. He will not break his duty. Unbreakable. Awesome. Yeah, it's fun. So even if you're in the center or object, that's nice. We haven't really seen this kind of rule, right? I like that. And he can join Desolation Squads. Oh, how come the other guys can't join Desolation Squads? Why is that? Seems arbitrary, right? I forgot about them until we just saw them here. And we've got Command Squad. So all the Firstborn. Yeah, so this is exactly my prediction. Not my prediction, but exactly in line with my reasoning from yesterday's stream about the Tyranid warriors, right? Tyranid warriors are sold as a box, so the Tyranid Prime that used to be a character is now not a character. So all these guys are sold in a single box, a command squad kit. They aren't characters anymore. They're just a command squad option. The weird thing is, based on how the rules are, there's no difference between Primaris and Firstborn from a performance or rules ability, as we've seen with the captains and lieutenants and, well, as you'll see with the librarians, I think it follows suit as well. Which means you could have just called the other ones, you know, like instead of Primaris Ancient, just call him an Ancient. If he's functionally the same stat-wise. 3 wounds. I guess he's not. So these guys they have a performance differential from all of these ones. Okay, might have spoke too soon there. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so what does the command squad offer? Champion's Blade has precision. 4 attacks on his Champion's Blade. Primaris Champion's Blade is what? 5 attacks. Okay. Well, at least the librarians, lieutenants, the captains and lieutenants, the non-command squad variants of the Firstborn characters are at a parity level to their Firstborn counterparts. But I mean, nothing's stopping you from taking these individual models, and using them. I'm counting him as a Primaris Lieutenant. Who cares? Or sorry, a Primaris Ancient. If you want to use them attached to a unit instead. And I'd encourage that, to be honest. Like, just because your model's Firstborn doesn't mean I can only be in a command squad now, because that's what the datasheet says. It's like, come on. Okay, so Narthesium. Apothecaries return 1 destroyed model, excluding characters. Astartes Banner does the same, +1 OC. Honor and Death is also the same. And we have our unit composition. Alright, command squads are done. Specialist corps. Let's look at the librarian. So T4, yeah, seems fine. 4 wounds compared to the 5 wounds of the Primaris captain. Let's look at the Primaris librarian. And he's also 4 wounds. Okay, yeah, so they're all in line, which is nice and tasteful. Feels Firstborn probably haven't felt better served since Primaris came out than now. It would seem to me anyways. Okay, Psychic Hood, yeah, gives the model that the units, gives his bodyguard unit feel no penny at psychic attacks. And Mental Fortress, the model he's leading in a 4-up invulnerable save. Wow. That's a good quality of life buff right there. Just give a unit invulnerable save, eh? I see what they did. It's mirroring the Psychic Fortress power, which used to be an aura, just giving whatever. I think any core models would have a 4-up or 5-up. And so it's much more controlled and measured when it's attached to his unit only. But still, 4-up is 4-up invuln's a big money value perk. Really good for librarians. Tack them onto a squad, and now you're far more defensible against psychic powers and just general. Invulnerable save will work against most Witchfire that aren't mortal wounds, right? They have a 4-up Feel No Pain as well. Jump Pack Librarian. He has Might of Heroes power. Wow, okay. Improve the AP of melee weapons by 1. Awesome. That's a really good power. Good for the Jump Pack Librarian. And I like the difference of abilities here, because now they have different utility, right? I want a Librarian with Jump Pack because he can uniquely give this ability, rather than my Jump Pack Librarian will give Mental Fortress and just have better movement. Yeah, I like this ability paradigm Psychic's better, I'm thinking. Less creative freedom, but I also think less fuel bads. Yeah, and he joins jump pack assault squads and veteran squads, but only with jump packs. Permars Librarian, yep, it's Mental Fortress as well. So they're effectively the same guy. They just join different units. Right? Actually, what's the psychic power of the normal Librarian? Smite? Yeah, he has Smite. The classic Smite. Yeah, the mate. I think you decide based on your troops. Like, you're talking about which units they can join between the two when I'm comparing the Librarians, yeah? Terminator Librarian, we've seen him way back. Psychic Hood and Veil of Time. Sustained hits 1. That's way different. Veil of Time used to do some... I think it would let you fight first in 9th edition. I guess it's inconsequential what it used to do. But Sustained Hits 1 is a very good ability, and it does not... it's ranged and melee. So you give it to your Terminator, Sustained Hits 1. Is that better than the Captain? Because you can only attach... You can't attach him in addition to a Captain. The way you could with a Lieutenant. So, what's the Captain Terminator? What does he do again? Oh yeah, Imperium Sword. He does have Rights of Battle, though. That's very good. Okay, so... Phobos Librarian is a leader. I'm happy the Phobos characters can be leaders. I was afraid they're all gonna be like that goober Lieutenant with combi weapon. Yes. Okay, so all of the Librarians just have Smite. Interesting. And they're not different Smites either, right? I don't think so. So they all have the same offensive power, which is, it's fine. Like, you care more about the abilities anyways. And his abilities are Psychic Hood and Shrouding. While he's leading a unit, models in that unit have a stealth ability and cannot be targeted by ranged attacks unless attack. Oh my god, it's Lone Operative. He gives them Lone Operative. That is wild. He can't Deep Strike, so that limits some of the potential a little bit. It limits the offensive rudeness of something like the Parasite of Mortrex we saw yesterday. But, you know, Eliminators that are now untargetable, pretty cool. There's good versatility in being untargetable, obviously. Actually, here's a question for you guys. Surely, if he attaches to a unit that has Deep Strike, like or Infiltrators, right? Like Infiltrate. Does he gain Infiltrate? Well, I guess he has Infiltrate. Okay, it doesn't matter then. Doesn't matter. Because I don't think Reavers... Oh, Reavers could Deep Strike, right? Because they have the Grav shoots. I don't know. I don't have to look that up in the core rules. Okay, Chaplains. Chaplains are working... How's the Crozius? Crozius is okay. Strength 6 is good. Litany of Hate. Okay, that's the one they're all going to have, surely. +1 to wound and melee. That is pretty good. Pretty good. Makes sense. You don't want to do rerolls because you have Oaths of Moment, so they didn't fumble and overlap the rules. Very good. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one Adeptus Astartes. Oh, you can get rid of Battle Shock. I think that's going to be big. That's big utility. And it's not just the unit he's in, so... Yeah, because if it was the unit he's in, that's very dice-dependent. It might be like a wasted ability. But a unit within 12 inches of him, he can just point to and say, hey, get your shit together. That's pretty good. It's pretty good if Battle Shock is as big of a deal as I'm expecting it to be. Chaplain with Jump Pack. Same deal, but with different power. Litany of Hate is still there. Exoration of Rage does. Each time you select a fight, you can select one enemy within engagement range. And roll d6. Oh, on a 4-up only. They suffer d3 mortal wounds, and on a 6-up, 3 mortal wounds. Doing straight-up mortal wounds, like I said, is a pretty premium position in the new edition, I think. But a 4-up kind of feels bad. And how many, well, it's not on the charge. It's, you know what? It's not on the charge. Someone charges into you. That's pretty good, right? It is only when he fights, though. Okay. So overall, I'm feeling like the jump pack powers on the Captain, Chaplain, and Librarian thus far, relative to their on-foot counterparts, are a little, I guess you could say, not as attractive. But I don't think it's bad. I think that's the cost of fly, like 12 inches of fly, right? I kind of wanted this in a way, because I always found it bothersome that you would just be better. You're better than the normal Chaplain. Same powers, same tools, you just have more movement and you fly. Primaris Chaplain, yeah, same as our normal guy. Spiritual Leader, that, I feel like that's going to be so valuable. And super thematic. I wonder if Commissars would do the same. But they would make that unit suffer a mortal wound, of course. You gotta kill a guardsman. I'm not seeing anything crazy. It's more or less the same selection of Tacticus guys he can join here. Absolver Bolt Pistol is 18 inches still. Okay, Chaplain in Terminator Armor. Recitation of Faith. 4-up, feel no pain against mortal wounds. Now, the Librarian in Terminator Armor is doing something similar, right? 4-up, feel no pain against psychic attacks, which aren't always mortal wounds. Sometimes they're. Okay. Okay. Sometimes mortal wounds won't be psychic attacks. So there's a little bit of an angle you could make a case for there. And he'd give your Terminators +1 to wound. That's it's not nothing. Chaplain on bike. This guy. Catechism of Fire. Catechism and Catechism of Fire. Each time this model's unit is selected to shoot, you can select one enemy unit within 12 inches of and visible to this model. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in this model's unit have the Devastating Wounds ability. Yeah, see what I'm saying? I like these abilities. I like that they're worse than the abilities on foot. Because you gotta pay for your more wounds, your more movement, your higher toughness, right? Because the Chaplain on bike, I'm assuming, yeah, it's T5 still. Yeah, twin-linked bolt rifle. Oh, he still has 5 attacks. Same as a normal Chaplain. So that's also a... I think that's something he's lost. Actually, I could be wrong. I know the Chaplain on bike was definitely a thing, and would be tooled up with a bunch of traits and litanies and all of that, which might have been what was bumping up his attacks to crazy amounts. All right. So we're done the Chaplains now, I believe. Oh no, we got the Judiciar. Executioner Relic Blade, precision with devastating wounds, not bad. 7 -2/2. How does he compare to the company champion? 5, 5, minus 2, 2. Also with precision. 5 attacks. Oh, yeah. He hits harder. Devastating wounds with his precision. And the model he leads fights first, which makes sense. Yeah, he's gonna be... With the way fight first works now too, like his unit will be fighting first when they get charged, which is an awesome defensive tool. You no longer have to be within 3 inches of the enemy and all that bullshit. Yeah, Judiciar's looking pretty good. Silent Fury. Each time this model destroys an enemy character model until the end of the battle, add 1 to the attacks of its Executioner Relic Blade. Okay. Nice. That's badass. It's a fun little mechanic there. And it's invuln only against melee attacks. I mean, if he's on the front line and you're expecting to fight, it's not that bad of a trade-off. Oh, hell yeah, then, mate. Silent Fury is fun. Assault, Blade Guard Veteran. Yeah, it's your usual picks. On to the Apothecarion. Damn, the Reductor Pistol, AP4. It's such a powerhouse. 3-inch range though, but that is fun. I'll catch people off guard. Like, oh, I'm gonna shoot my Reductor Pistol now. The AP4? It's nuts. Narthecium, yep, same as the one in the Command Squad. And Gene Seed Recovery. That is fun. That's a fun ability. It's nice how that's being represented now. Very cool. Yeah, I think that's all there is to him. Oh, and he can join a unit even if a captain and lieutenant. So then you can have all 3. Okay, pretty cool. And the Apothecary Biologist. He has surgical precision to the unit he's leading, which is the same as the lieutenants, right? Lethal hits? Yeah, lethal hits. Tactical. So this is tactical precision. Not to be confused with surgical precision. Oh my god, okay. And his Vivispectrum. This is a fun ability as well. I like these secondary abilities on the Apothecaries. He claims his, you know, what he's a collector of, like, enemy genetic samples or whatever, right? So once he picks up a piece, he gets really, he gets really emboldened. Really cool. OC9 on a single guy. But it's only in melee if he destroys a unit, which means aggressors is kind of how you want to... They're the only ones that would feasibly kill something. Unless you're fighting like Genestealer cults or something. You know, if you're fighting like a pretty soft enemy, then maybe you could kill them with like Eradicators just punching or Intercessors just punching. Techmarine. Okay, what are the abilities we're looking at here? Oh, nice! He gets Lone Operative if he's within range of a vehicle. I like that. That was the concern I was wondering about. Like, how are they gonna prevent him just from not being part of a unit and getting sniped out? Well, not even sniped out, just shot. So, Blessing of the Omnissiah. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Astartes vehicle model within 3 inches of this model. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds, and until the start of your next command phase, each time that model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Each model can only be selected for this ability once per turn. That's right in line from where it is now. D3 is still shitty, but you do get the +1 to hit as well. So it's, you know, that's something. If D3 is how it is for everyone, it might not be too bad. And Vengeance of the Omnissiah. If a friendly Astartes vehicle model is destroyed within 12 inches of this model, at the end of the battle, this model's Omnissiah Power Axe has attack 7. What is it normally? 7's a lot, though. It sounds... Oh, so yeah, you get 3 more attacks. Okay, that's a bit of icing on his cake there. How are his servo arms? Oh man, the servo arm is 3 damage, but the thunder hammer dropped to 2 damage. Come on. Come on. I had to give my captain a servo arm. Jesus. Yeah, he joins his servitors and his tactical squad. Servitors. Mind lock gives +1 weapon skill and ballistic skill when led by a Techmarine. Okay. Yeah, you got your plasma cannons, your multi-meltas, your heavy bolters. 1 wound, save 4. That seems pretty high for a servitor. T4. Why is it T4 servitor? Is it weird? Feels weird to me. Wow, okay, so at the start of the battle, this unit can join one other unit from your army. Okay. It's neat. I feel like this is just honoring the products you have. Primaris Techmarine is the same as the other guy with way less weapon options. Right, 3 wounds. Oh, but 4 wounds. Okay. Not a bit of a difference there. They both have 2-up saves, though, at least. God, servo arm extra attack. Yeah, everything else seems the same. An anti-vehicle and grav pistol. I want to look at the Devastator squad. I see what you're saying, Sellers Burgeoner, but what about AdMech? Aren't AdMech aren't they all T3? I can't. Now I'm wondering if I'm misremembering. Let's take a quick look. Doo-doo-doo. AdMech. The Skitari. T3. Alright, moving on to our veterans. The Terminators we've seen, Teleport Homer lets you get free Rapid Ingress, which is awesome. And you get a fun token, some fun token action, which I like. Chain Fists are anti-vehicle. Cyclone Missile Launchers are... Strength 9 is, you know, it's more than it used to be. It's funny, like, you know your weapon was never good if in 10th edition it's only gotten better. Power Fists are looking good. You're no longer unwieldy. Look at that. Fury of the First, +1 to hit when targeting the Oath of Moment target. Yeah, Sellers, I think you're probably right. Those servitors, in fairness, are a bit bulky. Terminator Assault Squad, Thunderhammer, Twin Lightning Claws are your options. Devastating Wounds. Yeah, it's the same Thunderhammer we all have. So 1 less attack, worse weapon skill, 1 more attack, same, okay. Yeah, Twin Linked though. AP2 isn't bad either. Okay, Teleport Homer. So they have Teleport Homer as well, but their ability is different. Each time this unit ends a charge move, each enemy unit within engagement range of this unit must take a Battle Shock test. This could be... It could be devastating. You know? It really depends on what stratagems they may want to use in the fight phase. I mean, that's... Well, obviously, but... I'm thinking in addition to the standard threat of Battle Shock... Because, like, if you were to put someone under Battle Shock in your turn, their Battle Shock is then expired, and they take a new... Because you lose Battle Shock at the start of your... in this step, you must take a Battle Shock test. Let's just check command phase. Stratagems before progressing to the Battle Shocks. So how long does Battle Shock last, is the question. Once you've taken test for all your units, require them command phase, and then proceed to the movement phase. So if you're Battle Shocked in the Battle Shock step, it lasts until your next command phase. Is that the same duration for... So, like, what I'm wondering is, like, this doesn't prevent scoring, right? Because then your battle... This instance of Battle Shock would expire once you get into your opponent's command phase? I don't know. But at the very least, it will ruin their ability to use stratagems and... take away the control of... Because it depends on when the missions say scoring is done, and I'm pretty sure the one we've seen says scoring is done at the end of your command phase. Oh, is that right, Star-Lord? The Battle Shock lasts until your next command phase? Very interesting, if that's the case. Very interesting. Terminator Assault Squad. What is their ability? Oh, they don't even have an ability. They have Grenade Harness. That's weird. What's the idea? They have more war gear, so... More esoteric war gear, and so you can, That's good enough? That feels kind of... That kind of bums me out a bit. Well, I guess it'll keep them cheap. Conceivably anyways, right? Because you could load them out the same way you would a normal Terminator squad, and then if that's the case... I just count them as the other ones. Screw that. Brother Dr. Calcul, again, with the Relic Terminator Squad, what HQ should one attach to it? That's a good question. That's a good question. Well, you have two options. You have an Ancient, who I think we're about to see. He's on HQ. Well, there are no more HQs, but I think I know what you mean. You mean between the Chaplain, Librarian, or Captain. So what does Captain give you? Reroll Charge, right? Reroll Charge and more stratagem use on them. That's like very, very powerful stratagem utility. Librarius, Terminator Librarian does... So you have Veil of Time for sustained hits and a Feel No Pain Psychic attacks. So that is good. All your weapons will have exploding hit rolls of 6. 1 extra attack on critical hits of 6. And the Terminator Chaplain does +1 to wounded melee. If you're staying in melee, I would say the Chaplain's better. If you're staying in ranged, the Librarian's better, and the Captain is good in either. That's my thoughts on the matter. Okay, let's take a look at the Terminator Ancient. Keep the banner high. While this model is leading a unit, each time that model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll if that unit is below the starting strength, or add 1 to the wound roll if it's below half strength. That's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know if it's better to get better as you suffer damage, or to just be better all the time. You know, with something like the Librarian or the Chaplain. If you're trying to just have your Terminator sit around on something, maybe. No, I don't think so. He's my least favorite Ancient for sure. Unless I'm missing something, you guys can point it out. But I'm not too hot on the Ancient and Terminator armor. Blade Guard Vets. What do we got here? Mastercrafted power weapon. 4 attacks each. So we need to check how the base, like Intercessor basic attack profiles. So Intercessors are base attack 3. So Blade Guard Vets at 4. They have 1 extra attack for being of veteran status. And at the start of the fight phase, you can select one of the following abilities to apply to models in this unit until the end of the phase. Reroll hit rolls of 1, and each time an invulnerable saving throw is made, reroll a saving throw of 1. Okay, so only their invulnerable saves can be rerolled. Interesting. This is eerily similar to the Warriors, the melee Warriors. Reroll hit roll of 1 and saving throw of 1. So Warriors can reroll any saving throw. Well, they don't have an invulnerable save, so maybe that's why. Either way, Blade Guard veterans are also doing karates better than custodies. Very funny. Anything else worthy of note here? 2 damage. So Mastercrafted power weapons are sitting in a premium spot, which is good. Yeah, 4 attacks per guy. Rerolling hit rolls of 1. Even against non-Oaths of Moment targets is pretty good. And if you are Oaths of Moment, if you are fighting an Oaths of Moment target, you just use Shields of... Yeah, it's good. Pretty cool unit. Blade Guard Ancient. Okay, what does he have? More OBSEC for the Blade Guard. Once per battle, this unit selected to fight, it can use this ability. Add 1 to the attacks of melee weapons. So wow. Wow. 5 attack Blade Guard veterans. Pretty good. And he can only lead Blade Guard veterans. Oh, but he can join even if a captain and lieutenant are there, which is very cool. You could have a little command squad of sorts, a Crusader squad, if you will. Your Blade Guard captain, lieutenant, ancient, and the veterans. That's cool. It's cool if you went that route for your chapter. Stern Guard vets we've seen. They can shoot again if they kill something, which isn't bad. They got weird combi weapons. I'm not the only one who doesn't like combi weapons, right? Like, they're just such an awkward profile. Like, 0 AP, combi grav, or combi melt, or combi plasma feels so awkward. I don't know. It's just weird. It's definitely a loser of the homogenized weapon sets. Okay, then we got Vanguard veterans. No models. Just this cool artwork. Models do exist, though, so I'm actually very curious as to why there's no artwork here. Suspicious. I wonder if a new kit is on the way. So you have heirloom weapons. 4 attacks, because you're veterans. 5 -1/1. And lethal hits. Right, when you charge. Only when you charge you get lethal hits. Which is fair. Oh, but these aren't the jump pack ones. Each time this unit has a charge move. They have lethal hits. So do the jump pack variants also have the same ability? They do. Oh, that's why there's no artwork. Because the artwork is only for these guys. Okay. I see now. Disregard. Disregard. Oh, does Valrock say that? Okay. Well. Fair enough. I would imagine jump packs are your Tacticus jump pack. Marine type is the only remaining, I guess, area of the Space Marines range to be fleshed out. And I think with Space Marine 2, you can see the design space kind of being, or the design being fleshed out. So, yeah, probably around the Codex release, I think we'll see those will be the units added to the range. I don't know. Weird. Very weird to have a unit with the same ability. It's just always better with the jump packs. That's what they are. I guess it's not a character, so I guess you have to kind of treat them this way, which is fine. I don't think it's bad. Okay, over to Battleline. Tactical squads are alive, which pleases me greatly, and their ability is tactical flexibility. Of course, of course. You can shoot and declare a charge and turn what you feel back. So again, the tactical squads are always benefiting from tactical doctrine. Which I mean, it is a good ability, but I don't like how it's... it's not... I want to open another tab, or duplicate this tab. Whoops, I don't want to pin it. I want to duplicate this. Yeah, so I don't love when units just have abilities that make, So when I activate Tactical Doctrine for my army, the Tactical Squad gains no benefit, which kind of feels bad to me. I don't love that. I feel like there should be another sentence here that says, and when the Tactical Doctrine is active, you can also do Y. Or it instead does Y, right? Bahamut, you're saying all Flamer Attack Squad. Are the War Gear options different? Oh my god, this War Gear list. Okay, one Techmarines bolt gun can be replaced with the following. Whoa, it has to be all 10, eh? That's how that works now. Interesting. Well, if they're gonna do that, at the very least, scratch what I said. They should have had a second ability to combat squad to represent their tactical acumen that they've accrued over, firstborn drills or, just time and experience. That would have been way better, especially if they're gonna force you to have all 10. Yeah, tacticals are... I mean, I'm happy they're here. I just think they could use a little bit extra something. Well, you know what? I want to temper that a little bit. I want to back that up. Because this is all under the context of Gladius Task Force, right? When the Codex comes out, we'll probably have at least, I'm thinking, 3 more detachments. And... then this actually might be like, whoa, I'm so happy they have this ability, So that could be changed just with a different detachment. They'll just reframe them completely. Okay, Intercessor squads have objectives secured, sticky objectives. I see why they data slated that into 9th edition. Anything noteworthy here? Grenade launcher shoots a crack grenade. Fine. New bolt rifles are pretty spicy. Thunderhammer is the same as everywhere else, of course. That's it for them. Assault Intercessors. Oh yeah, so fun fact. Assault Intercessors, if you look at the shoulder pad, they're not actually battle line units at all. In lore, right? They're battle line in-game. So I put them here. For purists, for Force Org enthusiasts, I want to mention that. Because I wanted to format this PDF as if you were looking at it from a in-lore perspective, right? You're number crunching for the Astartes as a humble, what's the word? Not acolyte, a serf. You're a humble serf, all right? kind of number crunching for them. That was the idea. But in any case, infiltrator squads, which are battle line, if you look on their shoulder pads, are not battle line. So, yeah, that's what that little note I added there is for. Anyways, let's go look at the Assault Intercessor datasheet. Shock Assault. Each time they target a unit. Okay, it's Chaos Space Marines, veterans of the Long War. These guys are also veterans of the Long War. Anything crazy? 4-attack chainswords is cool, makes sense. Nope. Everything seems as normal here. Okay, heavy intercessors, T6. Okay, so these guys are slow, not like the captain. OC2, because they're battle line, right? These guys are also OC2? Way out. But infiltrator squads? No, OC1. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Unyielding in the face of the foe. While the scene is within range of an objective marker you control, each time attack with damage characteristic of 1 is allocated. Add 1 to any armor saving throw made against an attack. Okay, so that was a stratagem they had before. Now it's always on. Heavy bolter has sustained hits 1. Is that what all heavy bolters have now? Or is that just their heavy bolter? We'll have to keep an eye out for that. Well, I guess we could take a look at the tactical squad. They surely would show it. Oh, they don't. Okay. Yeah, 3 wounds, 3 up save, +1 to save against damage 1. Pretty cool. Assault and heavy, 30-inch range now, so now they have the range bolt rifles used to have. Yes, Bahamut, it was a Gravis strat. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay, so infiltrators. Normal stat line. Marksman bolt carbines are heavy, so you can get a +1 to hit if you are stationary with them. No longer rapid fire. You always have your 2 attacks, which is nice. Oh, that's very interesting. So tactical squads. Normal bolt guns for sisters, for Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, your attacks are all baked in. Okay, good. Very good. Omni Scramblers, yeah, of course, that's their ability. It's not a bad thing either. It's very good. It's very good. Helix Gauntlet does the Feel No Pain. Yep, just like the Votan stuff or the Guardsman stuff we've seen. Those smaller war gear medics and comms guys have these kinds of abilities. 5+ stratagem refund. It's okay. Alright, 6 up Feel No Pain's not bad. I think you want to take that every time. Alright, so let us carry on. Now, okay, we're chunking through this beefy book. Assault Squad. 2 wounds. Eviscerator is 3 attacks. Yeah, so their normal attack rate is 3. So the same attacks as Assault Intercessors, which is nice. And Chainsword Doctrines. Already I like this. Each time this unit is selected to fight, select one of the following abilities to apply to all with Astartes chainswords. Oh, that's fun. That is very fun. Sustained hits 1, lethal hits, or lance. Right? You need +1 to wound? You can have it. When you charge, of course, right? Lethal hits for, yeah, exploding hits or lethal hits. Very interesting. Oh, and the Astartes shield gives that one guy a 4-up. Yeah, fire smoke. Good point. The medics no longer just eat. They reduce damage to 0. It's such a... It was a good rule, but I never liked it. It's just weird. And you have the Firstborn War Gear options, of course. Then you have Assault Squad with Jump Packs. Each time this unit has a charge move, select one enemy within range of it and roll a d6 for each model of this unit. On a 4+, they suffer 1 mortal wound. So you have a unit of 5, or 10 if you're crazy. Maybe a leader as well. because I assume the leader would count as being part of the unit. And 50% chance of that many dice, you have a mortal wound. Again, it seems fairly consistent. There seems to be more alluring abilities on the units without jump packs, which I think is a good design philosophy. It's still good, and it allows them to hurt things they shouldn't as they slam in with their jump packs, right? But I think it's important that you maintain justification for these versions of units with worse movement and fly, and lack of fly. So it's good, is what I'm saying. Incursors do... Okay, so they have ignore cover on their guns still. 2 attacks always. Paired combat blade sustained hits. Yep. Scout move 6, Oaths of Moment. Multi-spectrum array. Now this used to, I just think, ignore all modifiers when you would shoot at stuff, I think. In your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more attacks made by this unit this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, add 1 to the hit roll. Okay, so instead of ignoring all hit penalties, they give everything else a +1 to hit. Which is, it's good, synergy boosting ability. You're going to have to... I guess for these special ops Marines, these tactical guys, these kinds of abilities make sense. I suspect, just given how things are looking so far, if you play the Phobos heavy style Marines, you'll have a very different sort of play style, which is always, I think, the intention. But it just seems to be a bit more fancy, a bit more finesse oriented. Okay, and the Haywire Mine does, once per battle, the start of any phase, you can select one enemy unit within 3 inches of a bear and roll 1d6. Oh, so you can throw the Haywire Mine out onto something, not just when something charges you. Well, that's pretty cool. At the start of any phase, so you can move within 3 inches of a vehicle and throw that sucker on there. That's cool. Reavers. Yeah, I jumped ahead and we looked at them earlier. At the start of a fight phase, each enemy unit with an engagement range must take a battle shock test, which is cool, and their aura makes it more likely to fail, which is good. Grapnel launcher, whenever they make a normal advance, fallback, or charge, ignore any vertical distance. Okay. And yeah, grav shoots give them the deep strike ability, which is cool, makes sense, and they have precision. I think I don't want to have to eat my own words later on, but I think Reavers might finally be an interesting, worthwhile unit. It only took 2 editions, but they might be worthwhile as kill squads that can just really wreck a character. Like 4 attacks per guy going into a unit's character. It's pretty good. Yeah, these kinds of abilities actually have a lot of play, even for tools like counteroffensive, right? Like that is a stratagem that is. It comes down to a dice roll ultimately, but the possibility of it seems to be a value in itself. That's the nature of the game, right? Inceptors, interesting. 10 move. That seems to line it. T6, 3 up, 3. Okay. Meteoric Descent is their ability. When they're set up on the battlefield using Deep Strike, it can perform a Meteoric Descent. If it does so, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield more than 3 inches horizontally away from all enemy units. Okay, like the Genestealer cults. Until the end of the turn is not eligible to declare a charge. Yeah, that is like the Genestealer cults. Okay, so what do you gain for that? Just more luxury in your positioning, I suppose. If you want to block something or be on an objective, maybe. How does this stack with Omni Scramblers? Does the core rule state or clarify can versus cannot, and which way you rule that? Because now I'm wondering. Like my meteoric descent says I can deep strike anywhere as long as I'm more than 3 inches away. Well, my Omni Scrambler says you can't. Come within 12 inches. I have to verify that. Okay, so yeah, the hideous volume of fire from these guys is gone. You have 3 shots per guy now, so you get 9 shots from your assault bolters. You got sustained hits though on the bolters. That's kind of neat. Sustained hits 2, so each hit roll of 6. Each hit roll of 6 does 2 extra hits. It's kind of fun. That can pop off. It's assault and pistol, which is a kind of like a little bit of a premium position you have there. Twin linked, reroll wounds, which is fine. Yeah, that's the trade-off for having 2 of the same weapon. 5. Oh, that's 2 damage though. How about that? They've always been 1 damage from what I can remember. Very interesting. Funny, so funny that everyone wanted to go plasma. Surprise! If you just wait long enough, your war gear option will become good. Yeah, assault pistol sustained hits 2. And wasn't there a stratagem? Wasn't there a stratagem for scoring more crits? Oh no, that was an enhancement. That was an enhancement. Yeah, it was this. Ranged weapons gain sustained hits 1. Oh, okay, it wouldn't stack though. I assume. Right? That wouldn't turn to sustained hits 3, right? I don't think so. At the very least though, you could get sustained hits 2 on hit rolls of 5+, but you know what? You can't lead a unit of Inceptors. There's nothing for them. So it's a moot point. It's kind of a bummer. Thought that was something there. Plasma exterminators are, you get 2 shots per guy, re-rolling. But they're 2 damage and 3 damage now. I don't know, I think they might have been 1 damage and 2 damage supercharged before. So losing the volume does suck. Twin linked though does kind of help with how much more tough things are. And AP3 and 3 damage is a pretty nice premium profile for an infantry model. It's just the volume is just hard to equate to like what was before, 2d3 per guy. It's kind of nuts. It's probably more fair now. I mean, if they're pointed appropriately, I still think your plasma ones feel pretty good. Okay, Assault Centurions, 4-inch movement. I just think what happens when you get hit by a -2 movement. You just trundle in 2 inches. Okay, Annihilator Protocols. Melee weapons equipped by models have sustained hits 2 when targeting vehicle, monster, or fortifications. Nice! So your siege drills have... Okay, you have 9 attacks per guy. Or you have 9 attacks for the unit of 3. Sustained hits 2. It can really pop off, but it's not likely. You can't lead them either. You have Twin Meltagun. Oh, you have a 1-shot. Oh my god, Twin Meltagun now. Yeah, not feeling too hot in Centurion Assault Squads. Are T7s? I don't know, what do you guys feel? 4 wounds. 2 up save is good. T7's fine. Minus strength 10, -2, 3 damage is, you know, a Rhino is saving on 5s. Sorry, Bahamut. I just saw you at your chat. You're saying fight, not charge. Lance is on charge. Is that in reference to something I said? If I got something wrong or misspoke, I would love to have it be pointed out. Bike squad, bikes. T5 bikes, 3 wounds. Attack bikes are here as well. Turbo boost. Oh, so their ability is just what it is now, turbo boost. Add 6 inches to the move characteristic. Oh, okay. Story's chainsword is 3 attacks. That's normal. Oh, you know what? How many attacks does a primary, not a primary, a tactical guy have? Close combat weapon. Ew. 2 attacks. But then 4 attacks for a chainsword? Why is a chainsword +2? Wait, that must be a typo, right? Like, you gotta have 3 attacks base. 1 less for a power... Yeah, 1 less... Actually... Yeah, it is 1 less for a power fist, because the power fist now, weapon skill is the same. And the chainsword would be +1. So I think this is a typo. Well, the reason why I'm curious is because the bikes seem to have less attacks. Unless Firstborns just without a weapon have less attacks. It's so weird. Oh, well not... It's very strange. I guess maybe bikes have less attacks without any weapons. Oh, because it's on the sergeant. Okay. That would square things up. That makes sense. Good looking out, Farseer. Good looking out. Attack bike, outrider escort. Once per turn, your opponent's shooting phase. When a friendly does start, its mounted unit is within 6 inches of this unit. Select it as the target of an attack. Okay, so you're if a bike squad's within 6 inches, is target as an attack, or is the target of an attack. If it after the enemy unit has finished making its attacks, this unit can shoot as if it were your shooting phase. But when resolving those attacks, it can only target that enemy unit. Interesting. So that's kind of incentivizing you to not take them in the same unit in order to get that interaction, right? Because the bike's turbo boost 6 inches, the attack bikes cannot. Okay. That's different. I don't know how I feel about that. I never leaned big into bikes. Need to get someone who's big into bikes to weigh in on that. Is that a feel bad? I don't know. Outrider squad. Okay, same. Alright, same sort of deal here. Turbo boost for them, movement 12. 4 wounds. 4 wounds versus 3, so they still have 1 more wound, and they have 4 attacks. The story's chainsword, so 3 being a normal marine, and then +1. For the chainsword. Okay. Okay, and these options are for the invader baked into the unit now, whereas before it was not. Twin length bolt rifle, 2 shots. Nothing sparking a lot of joy. Yeah, and the Invader ATV does the same thing as the Outriders. It'll all come down to points, sellers, for the Outriders, if they're garbage or not. They feel less potent than they used to be, for what it's worth. Like before, you would have 4 attacks, and I think +2. You had an ability to give you +2 attacks on the charge. And your bolt rifle would have more volume without the twin linked reroll. You'd have 4 attacks per bike. Yeah, Tommy's got a good point. The unit can be bigger now. It's not just, because I think it was capped at just 3, right? Units of 3, so now you can go up to 6 plus an Invader ATV, which is pretty cool. And the Invader, if you're escorting them, you're kind of encouraging your enemy to get rid of the escort first, which, you know, creates well, it muddies up their target prioritization, which I think is kind of a not an obvious element to manipulate with your enemies, but I think there is some merit to it. Speeders. So many speeders. 14-inch movement, which is that more or less than it was before? It might be more, but T7 speeders, crazy to me. Crazy to me. Target sighted at the start of your shooting phase. Select one enemy unit that is visible to this model until the end of the phase. Each time an adept studies model makes an attack with a blast weapon that targets that enemy unit. Add 1 to the hit roll, and that attack has the ignores cover ability. So the speeder can get rid of can get rid of indirect penalties for blast weapons, which is kind of cool. We have to see how your indirect's looking, but that's what the speeders did. You know, the telemetry, super cool. 6 wounds, OC2 for those 2 guys in there, right? Makes sense. Yeah, heavy bolter has sustained hits. Wow. Didn't expect that. Land speeders. Oh, land speeder tornado with the assault cannon. Oh, okay, so each one has a different ability. Each time this model ends a normal moving, select one enemy unit, excluding monster and vehicle units. If it moved over... Oh, that it moved over, then roll a 6. On a 4 if it suffers a mortal wound. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's not nothing, but it's... Yeah, you roll 66, okay. Oh, just double checking there to see if it was dependent on the squad size, but it's not. It's just always 6. So it could be kind of cheeky if you got a character who's hard to kill or something, or yeah. I mean, phase cap doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, which is it's a good mechanic to get rid of. But it's that out of phase kind of utility, which is still a utility. And Typhoon. Fire and redeploy. In your shooting phase, each time this model is shot, if it's not within engagement range of any enemy, if it's not in engagement range of any enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to 6d6 inches. A d6 inch move for a land speeder seems so small. And it cannot charge. Fine enough. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. Storm Speeder Hail Strike. I mean, I already love the new stubbers. 3, rapid fire 3. Nice. Yeah, okay. Seems pretty tame here. Each time smallest shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by 1 or more attacks made by this model this phase. So only when you hit. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Starters unit makes an attack against that target, improve the armor penetration by 1. That's really good. Really good. The same enemy can only be affected by 1, yeah, so you can't stack. That's, yeah, still just +1 AP. Like, any unit that targets that. So if you want to be really surgical with your Oaths of Moment, you could use your speeders to really just kind of feed into that. It's like... Oh, this round I'm bringing in my second Hailstrike Storm Speeder to hit this thing. And now I reroll all hits, all wounds, and everything has plus AP in shooting phase. That's really good. Wow. They really want to sell these. Did no one buy? Was I the only person who bought these? What's going on? Alright, Thunderstrike. Yeah, my favorite one, the Thunderstrike. T9. Is that on T9 also? It's weak. That's too high. Like, why is a land speeder T9? Same as a Rhino. It's too much. Okay, Storm Fury Missile, Strength 12, which is good. Okay, so they kept this as viable into vehicles, which I like. Got some anti-fly rocket pod action as well. You still got your 2-up ballistic skill, very good. Okay, oh yeah, these have Deep Strike too. Thunderstrike, each time this model has shot, select one enemy monster or vehicle that was hit by one or more attacks made by this model this phase until the end of the phase each time. Oh my god, +1 to wound? What is happening? They really want to sell these speeders. I do get the idea, I suppose, of the design philosophy of the speeder, like the swift recon vehicle that scouts out targets and marks them, which is kind of what the telemetry was in the classic land speeder we first looked at. So I think it's the idea kind of lines up with the fluff, right? Or it's not a stretch, is it? But that seems so good. +1 to wound. My god. Okay, and Hammer Strike has the Meltas, Crackstorm. Yep, same as before. Actually, a very similar profile to before. Still 3 shots here. 2 shots from here as well. Good AP. 3 and 4. What was the other one? What was the Thunderstrike AP? Yeah, 3 and 3. Okay. Still good. AP 3 is fine. And the ability, Hammer Strike, of course. Each time smallest shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more attacks made by this model this phase until the end of the phase. Cover. Whatever. You know what? Cover might be a big deal. It's possible. Everything provides benefits of cover. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. Doesn't hard to stack up against the other two. You know what it is? You know, and I hate that it's leading into my tinfoil hat feelings, right? I just feel like this is the one everyone liked before because Melta meta, and now that everyone's kind of built this one isn't as desirable, which is actually if that's the case, and now the more I think about it, I think that it might be. I really wonder, like, hey, they should have a different ability that's more potent because already Meltas are hurt by the increase of toughness, right? And personally, I think the vehicle-based Melta should be a bit punchier than a handheld Melta already, right? So I think there's a fair argument here for this Melta being a bit softer than it ought to be. Whatever. Those are my thoughts on that. Devastator. Oh shit, we're moving through. Fire support squads. Here we go. Okay. Grav Cannon. Anti-vehicle 2+ heavy. Oh, only AP 1, eh? 3 damage is good, though. You're always wounding any vehicle on 2s, which is cool, but AP 1 is it's a bit soft. But there is a way to get AP in ranged, right? Critical hits, add 2 to the attacks. To the end of the phase, models equipped ignore cover. Yeah, ranged weapons. So you could start off fire them. Give them more AP if you wanted. Okay. Interesting. Okay, the Cherub, once per battle after making a hit roll. For this model, you can change that roll to a 6. Oh, that's fun. I mean, it's better than the... What did it do before? An extra shot, right? It's almost working like a miracle dice now, which is funny. I don't know if that's an intention, if I'm just connecting dots that aren't meant to be connected or not. Signum, each time this unit remains stationary until the start of your next movement phase, ranged weapons... Oh, they ignore cover. So now I don't want to use that stratagem. Last cannons, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Devastator's alright. Infernus. Pyroblast Discover. Yeah, we saw this was previewed way earlier. Yeah, Forces Battle Shock could be good. It's a good thing to be able to force. The big toss-up between them and aggressors, really, I mean, Battle Shock is a good threat. We'll have to take a look at aggressors who are in this list as well. But I really, when I look at Flamer dedicated units, I immediately look at the Fire Overwatch stratagem because that's just like board control, supreme board control. Right? Someone moves within 12 of you, you're like, blammo. Where is it? I have to dehance. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so if you're within 24 inches, you can shoot something after it moves. Hitting on 6s, Flamers don't care, so that's, yeah. Good threat, good board control. They're an interesting unit. I have a little bit of a bias against them because I was afraid my aggressors would be invalidated by GW wanting to push their new Flamer unit. But I don't know if that's... It doesn't seem to be the case from what I'm seeing here. Hellblasters. This is a big one I'm very interested in as well. Okay, yeah. So all the plasmas have been homogenized, which is big, sad. I was hoping, I kind of figured they would be, but I was hoping and praying that they'd stick around. I like the idea of that, you know, backpack connected variant meaning something. But it seems to be a fairly standard plasma profile. It's assault and heavy, like the bolt rifles, which is, that's your reward for giving up your options. And the ability is for the chapter. Each time a model of this unit is destroyed, roll a d6 on a 3+, do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can shoot after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, and it is then removed from play. When resolving these attacks, any hazardous tests taken for those attacks are automatically passed. Right, because it's dead. This ability is triggered even when a model in this unit is destroyed as a result of failing a hazardous test, meaning such a model may be able to shoot twice in the same phase. Oh. Well, that's the ancient. That's the old ancient banner bomb that we used to have in 8th edition. But it's on a 3+ instead of a 4+. So it's an ability based on, you know, I hope I roll well. You know, it's something. It's something. It's not what I would have preferred. I don't know what about hell blasting would make you more like, I don't know. I guess you know what, it's suitable. It's fine enough. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's fine. Desolation Squad. Oh, that's a good question, Sellers. Will they be better in Dark Angels? I assume you're talking about the Hell Blasters. It depends. GW loves Weapons of the Dark Age, so I assume that stratagem would be in your default Green Wing or Combined Wing detachment. With more of the specific Deathwing, Raven Wing stuff in those detachments. Yeah, you might have, like, +1 damage. You know, that just might be a returning staple. Okay, Desolation Squad. Are they worse than they used to be? Probably not. Super Crack is still more strength than a plasma gun. And more damage, but worse AP. Don't know how I feel about that. It's also got more range. But it's only one attack, so it's okay. It's fine. Super Frag, D6+1, nice, with Blast, very cool. Castellan Launcher. So these would all work with your Land Speeder, ignoring the benefits of cover and Blast, and indirect -1 to hit penalties. Oh, as would this. So actually just these two, Castellans. These indirect ones. Castellan and Vengeance. Vengor. Target optics. Each house unit remains stationary until the start of your movement phase. Oh, it already ignores the... that's weird. It seems... Is it weird? Honestly, is it weird to have a system that says indirect weapons suffer a penalty, but then to have a unit that is made for indirect weapons and it ignores that penalty? Or is that good or bad? I don't know. But it seems... it's giving me a feeling. Aggressors, yes. Obviously, I have a vested interest here. 3 wounds. Yeah, T6, everything's in line. What's the ability? Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target. AP +1. Oh, that's good. Your flamers keep their AP that you've become accustomed to from the tactical doctrine. Good for the salamander feels. And Flamestorm Gauntlets are twin-linked. D6 +1, so at least you can't roll 1 shot from your 2 flamers. They accounted for that at least. Ignores cover, auto-hits, twin-linked. So you're re-rolling wounds. You're auto-hitting and re-rolling wounds, which is... that's pretty good, with +1 AP. So, 3d6 +3. From our squad of 3 is alright. 3 attacks per power fist, and re-rolling wounds as well. AP2, 2 damage. Wait. What's going on here? What is going on here? I need to take a look at the intercessors will work. So an intercessor has a base 3 attacks. Normal Marine, 3 attacks. Right? Their power fist, not unwieldy. Strength 8, -2, 2 damage. And the aggressors are 3 attacks, but with worse weapon skill. Even though there's 2 of them, I guess that's the price you pay for having 2 power fists instead of 1. That's the price of twin-linked power fists is worse weapon skill, I guess. It's weird. Weird to me. Yeah, Grimdorks, the old ability of shooting twice was kind of... that's what they originally were sold as, right? Having AP isn't nothing. Especially if you can tool it up further, but... Or is AP also capped at +1 now? Like hit rolls and wound rolls and all that. I have to check the final details of the attack sequence. Yeah, aggressors are... I don't like that power fist. Yeah, it'll come down to points. I'd expect them to be cheaper than they are now. Right? I think that's like the natural expectation. Even if you have +1 AP built in, you have way less quantity. And I don't think Twin Link makes up for the quantity that you're... and your worse weapon skill. Or are you the same weapon skill? Do aggressors always have worse weapon skill? Yeah, because all power fists have worse weapon skill, I think. Let's do a quick Wahapidiah check. Let me just pull this over here. Oh, shit. The problem is Space Marine units take friggin' forever to load. It's such a big page. Let's tab over. Anything else on their data sheet? Not really. Auto Boltstorm, Twin Linked, 3 shots each. I was never an Auto Boltstorm guy. It's good their ability works for either, though. Either weapon. Not like how they were in 8th edition. It's a very frustrating set of abilities. Okay, so let's take a look at aggressors. Yeah, 3 attacks each, which is fine. Weapon skill 3 base, yup. And melee, Bolstrom gauntlets, yeah, -1 to hit. Okay. So, kind of weird to me. Kind of weird to me. The Intercessor Squad Power Fist just isn't unwieldy. Or the Captain's Power Fist isn't unwieldy, but the aggressors are still. 'Tis what it is, I guess. Okay, Eradicators. Total Obliteration. Each time a range attack is made by this model, it targets a monster or a vehicle. You can reroll hit rolls, wound rolls, you can reroll all of them, so it's not just one. So a reroll of each is good. They're 1 attack each, though, now. I think they were always 1 attack each. But Total Obliteration used to make you shoot twice, is what I'm connecting here. And total Obliteration would work on any unit. So now they're way more niche. Surprise, surprise, the unit that was pushed is no longer as good. Very lame rules upkeep. They should just have always been normal. Rerolling the damage roll is a good luxury, though. We've gone through a considerable amount of units, and we haven't seen that too often. Oh yeah, and their weapons have been homogenized as well. I forgot about that, because there used to be a heavy variant. So I guess they gave this the heavy keyword, because having heavy is a plus now. Okay, that's your reward for losing the option, I guess. Worse range, too, if I recall correctly. Yeah, multi-mult has 2 attacks. As it did before. Centurion Devastator. How are you sitting? Well, your ability, you to make a range attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If the target of that attack is at any unit within range of an objective marker, you can reroll a hit roll instead. Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty cool. You know, it overlaps with Oaths of Moment a little bit, but it gives you flexibility to, you know, put Oaths somewhere else and use these guys for a different task, shifting a different enemy. Twin-linked Last Cannon. Oh, God. They gotta be cheaper, right? You're not paying for 2 Last Cannons anymore. I mean, paying for a single twin-linked one. It has to be. Rapid fire bolters are much more, well, less scary for sure. Centurion missile launcher, it's fine. Grav cannon, yeah, their grav cannon's the same as the other. This used to be a grav cannon and grav amp. It used to kind of mean something different. I don't know if that's like people just getting creative with the rules, or if they just dropped that element from its lore. They just no longer want to represent it. I don't know. Twin Heavy Bolter has sustained hits and twin linked. It's fine. If it's pointed like in line with that, I don't think it's bad. It just doesn't spark joy. Eliminators. G4, so they have Infiltrate and Stealth. Very good. Representing their camel cloaks. Last Fusel is heavy. Still Strength 9 minus 3d6, which is fine. Instigator Bolt Carbine Precision 4 minus 2, 3. And Bolt Sniper Rifle. Was it always 3 damage? This is a terrifying weapon. If they stand still, they're going to have precision. They're hitting on 2s. So reposition under covering fire in your shooting phase after this unit has shot if it contains an Elder Sergeant equipped with an Instigator Bolt Carbine. This unit can make a normal move. If it does so until the end of the turn, this unit is not eligible to declare charge. Right, so fire and fade, and it's normal move. It's not just D6 inches, so you can fire and fade. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. You can be a real annoyance with that. And mark the target. Each time this unit remains stationary, okay, so maybe you don't want to be firing and fading. Until sort of your next movement phase, ranged weapons equipped have devastating wounds. Okay, so you get some critical sniper action. Critical sniper action. Pretty good. Okay, so you want to stay still. You don't want to get shot. Maybe. That's what the Phobos Librarian is for, right? Because he gives you stealth. They already have stealth, but they cannot be targeted unless they're within 12 inches. That seems like a thing. Depending on points, it might be a hefty price to pay, but might not be, just to be able to stand on top of a ruin and snipe with impunity. That could be a value on its own. It could be worth it. Yeah, because you move after you shoot. Oh, I see what you're saying, Samuel. It's, I'm thinking from a perspective on the following turn. You'd have to move back out to shoot again. Okay, so... Suppressors. Suppressors. Oh yeah, suppressing fire. They already have this ability. But it does -1 to hit against targets which are hit. Yeah, if you're hit by one or more of these attacks. So -1 to hit instead of turning off Overwatch. I think that's what they did before. Maybe that's too strong, given what I expect is the intention of the design. This reactive kind of game where you can fire Overwatch on the enemy turn more often than in just the charge phase, right? Accelerator Autocannon, Strength 8, AP 1, 2 damage. It's fine. Hitting on 4s, you deep strike in, you're gonna be hitting on 4s. Alright, we're in the boxes. The box Stratus here, I thought he was discontinued. I wonder if... I wonder if he'll be in here but not in the Codex. Okay, so his ability is Wisdom of the Ancients. Reroll hit roll of 1. Yeah, gives the old Captain aura. It's kind of a design imitates life. It's very meta. He is old, and so he has the old rule. Dreadnought combat weapon is strength 12. Hits on 3s, 5 attacks. Still 3 damage, which is good. AP 2 is okay. You're just thinking of vehicles, right? With a 2-up save. So the Dreadnought Melta is still a multi-Melta. So, like, I was kind of happy in 9th edition to finally see heavy plasma being distinct from a normal-sized plasma cannon, right? One was damage 1 to charge, supercharge on 2, and the heavy one was 2 to supercharge on 3. But still, I was hoping they'd carry, GW, I was hoping GW would carry through the embiggening of the stats for these embiggened versions of guns on vehicles, but they haven't, right? Assault cannons, I think the same as a normal assault cannon. The Dreadnought Missile Launcher seems to be the same. The Multi-Melta is still the same. The Twin Last Cannon... The Twin Last Cannon is larger, right? Because normal last cannons are strength 9, I believe we saw. For the Devastator squad here. Oh no, they're strength 12 too. That's weird to me. I feel like the design space created by making vehicles higher toughness should be to ensure that the bigger weapons on vehicles and walkers would be what would ideally trade into them. I feel like it's a kind of, not squandering, it's too dramatic of a word, but I feel like it's kind of not making the most of the design here. Okay. Ironclad. Oh, my precious Ironclad, how are you doing? T10 versus... Oh my god! T9 is... Yeah, I don't like that either. T9 dreads. T10 dreads. Already have a 2-up save. Already has a better save than a Repulsor. T10. Repulsor has more toughness, right? I know they previewed them, I just can't recall... Just can't recall what they are. T12. Okay, so you are tougher than a Dreadnought. Okay, Hunter Killers, we've already seen. See, the Hunter Killer missile is a vehicle-based missile. So it makes sense it's stronger than... I think you guys get what I'm talking about. Dreadnought combat weapon, 12. Seismic hammer, 14. I like that. Hell yeah, give me that hammer action. Not worse weapon skill, well, less attacks, which I think is the right way to rule those unwieldy weapons. I don't think your weapon should make you less skilled. If it's heavy, it's just you make less attacks, right? Like, why? It just makes more sense to me. Siegebreaker Protocols is the ability for the Ironclad. Each time a model makes a melee attack that targets a vehicle or fortification, add 1 to the hit roll and wound roll. Okay. So no monster utility, the way the Eradicators got, or I guess the way the Centurions also got. But, you know, vehicles are, I guess, more common than monsters. Plus 1 hidden wound is pretty cool. Does the anti-vehicle 3+ work with modifiers from the +1 to wound? Would that stack to, like, oh, my anti-vehicle 2+ now? Interesting. Contemptor. Back to T9, okay. So the Ironclad is sitting in a tougher position. Armor save 2, which is very good. Curie's assault cannon. So it's got more strength than the normal assault cannon. And multi-month is the same, right. Y'all know how I feel about that. Even Death I Serve, the first time this model is destroyed, removed from play without resolving its deadly demise ability. And then at the end of the phase, roll a d6 on a 2+, set this unit up. Gets back up on a 2+? Really? Interesting. Very interesting. And so the end of the phase, so what are the implications of this? That's good odds, though. Normally those get back ups are like on a 4. And it's built into points, so you don't feel bad if you spend a stratagem to do it. 5-up invulnerable save is here. Okay. Well, Contemptors are interesting. I do like that they all have different abilities. Okay, Redemptor, Big Chungus. Wounds 12, toughness 10. Jesus. Tougher than a rhino. Crazy. Okay, already I think this is a improvement. D6+1 is way better. Way better. This thing, it feels so bad. It feels so bad to just get one shot. So at least you got the minimum. They shored it up. Duty Eternal, -1 damage. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's cool. He keeps that. Any other weapons that stand out here? Twin Stormbolter. Not really. Heavy Onslaught is still more strength. Redemptor Fist is also AP2 still. Okay, then we have, what, the Brutalis. I think this ability is what it had in 9th. It's a fairly new unit anyways. On the charge, you do mortal wounds. Good utility there. On a 2-up also. Not bad. 6 attacks with the fists, which are twin-linked, so you're always rolling wounds no matter which you build with. But you still don't get that AP3 bracket, even on the Brutalis. Surprising. I would have figured it. It would have. Twin bolters, yeah, heavy bolters just seem to have across the board sustained hits. Oh, it's got that stupid Icarus, yeah. That's the stupid Icarus you don't see because it's cut off from the card. It's such an awkward weapon point. Okay. I see what you're saying, Farseer, about the Dreadnoughts being epic heroes. It's just hard to square up, like, I don't know, in my mind anyways, and it could just be my bias. I mean, I have a lot of Dreads. I definitely want them to be cool. But one's a far more complicated shape that seems just more vulnerable by its very nature, right? It has legs and joints, and one is this armored container. Now, I think a Dreadnought should be able to dumpster a Rhino, like with ease, but it's weird to me that the... maybe it's a game concession thing, you know? Often is the case. The Ballistus, yeah, we've seen this like way early. Ballistus Strike, reroll hit rolls when below half strength, or when a target is not below half strength. So that's fun. He is your initiator. Kind of dictates your unit activation sequence. Feels like that's an interesting design space, actually, to kind of balance out units from being abused. I wonder if we could see that more often, if it would help things out. Tone things down, keep things from being too egregious, right? An Invictor Warsuit. Okay, so heavy bolter, sustained hits, of course. Ignores cover with Torrent, 12 inches, d6 plus 3. The autocannon is more damage, which is cool, and more strength. I like that. See, the vehicle-based autocannon's stronger. I like it. Syndium cannon seems... it might be less shots, but it's nice that it's not just d6 plus 1. Once per turn, your opponent's shooting phase, when a friendly adversary's Phobos infantry unit is within 6 inches of this model and selected as the target of an attack, this model can use this ability. If it does, after that model's unit has finished making its attacks, this model can shoot as if it were your shooting phase. Oh, wow. That's cool. It's once per turn also. I guess the question becomes, who wants to shoot at the infantry nearby rather than the Invictor? It's a nice idea. The Invictor Fist is strength 14, AP2, 3 damage. But why? Why is it more strength than the Redemptor Fist? Which is by all accounts like a bigger, beefier fist. That seems weird to me. I don't know, guys. What do you think about that? Is there some lore reason about, like, why? Why is he stronger? He's definitely not as tough. That is weird. Strength 14. Same strength as the Siege Hammer. Weird. Okay, let's look at the artillery. Tremor shells, right, so this is the stratagem they had from like 8th edition. That was really good, and now it's just built in. -2 move, -2 advance, and charge. You got your assortment of weapons on your Thunderfire Engineer there. Blast indirect D6 plus 4, so you should have enough shots to hit even with the indirect penalties. And Fire Strike Servo Turret. Toughness 6, okay. Save 2. Moves 3 inches, you know, tiptoeing around. And how are these weapons looking? Twin length, strength 9. So it's 3 shots or 2 shots, rerolling wounds, high strength already. AP 1, 3 damage, or AP 3, D6 plus 1. And Sentinel Protocols is the ability. Each time you select this unit for the Fire Overwatch Stratagem, oh, hit rolls are scored on modified hit rolls of 4+. That's a little interesting, but you're paying a CP, because Overwatch is 1, right? Yeah, Overwatch is 1, so you're paying 1 CP to shoot 3 or 2 shots that are hitting on a 4. It doesn't leave me very confident. Now, maybe if that unit is targeted for Oaths of Moment from the previous turn, it's pretty good. I don't know if I want to pay CP for hitting on 4s. I don't know. Am I off base with that one? What do you guys feel? I mean, if you're charging a vehicle into him, it might be worth. Squeeze some value out before you die. If a Dreadnought type thing is charging him, it'll probably wreck him pretty easily. Well, he's at 6 wounds, but yeah, the 2-up save is a problem for the Dreadnoughts, because the Dreadnoughts are always hitting on, you know, barring any buffs, they're hitting on AP3, right? AP2. Because none of them were AP3, right? Even the Mighty Invictor Fist is only AP2. Hunter. T11. Okay, I like that. Hunter killer missiles 1 shot. Sky Spear missile. Anti-fly 3. Okay, that's sweet. Devastating wounds. Oh shit! Mortal wounds D6 plus 2 mortal wounds against fly. That's really good. And has heavy, so you can counteract the shooting at hard to hit stuff. Down 2, strength 10. Man, they actually made it good. And it's not anti-aircraft, it's anti-fly. So it feels deadly, you know? And the ability, Hunter Missile Targeting. Each time this model makes an attack with its Sky Spear missile launcher that targets a monster or a vehicle, that attack scores a hit on a modified 2+. Wow! Doesn't matter if it's a flyer or not. Really good. Finally, they made these one-shot, big, you know, big, hard-hitting cannons, like, impactful. That feels good, right? Stalkers for shooting Tau? Hell yeah. Oh, I haven't seen the Stalker yet. Sorry. I always jumble up the names of these ones. Let's take a look at the Tau. Or, sorry, the Stalker. Okay. Icarus Storm Cannon, Anti-Fly, 2+ again. 6 shots. 3+, 7, -1, 2 damage. Okay, so 2 damage is really nice. AP1 is... it's fine. Skyfire Protocols. Each time you target this model with the Fire Overwatch Stratagem. Okay. So each time you spend a 1 CP to use this ability, just after an enemy unit that can fly starts or ends a normal or advance or fallback move when resolving that stratagem. So this is only for Fire Overwatch when you're not being charged, as I'm reading this. In addition to shooting the enemy unit, you can select up to 3 additional enemy units within 24 inches that can fly. This model can also shoot at each of those. Wow. You're always sitting on 6. But that's really good, just being able to shoot at so many more things. Yeah, and you're always wounding on a 2+. Interesting. Interesting. 2+. This hunter-killer missile, sorry, I just got distracted. This hunter missile targeting, this does not overrule Overwatch, right? That's pretty explicit, I assume. See, a modified hit roll of 6 is required to score a hit, irrespective of ballistic or any modifiers. So modifiers are pluses. Ballistic skill is on the profile. But this is saying unmodified hit roll of 2+. Very interesting. Yeah, bomb it. You can shoot all the things. That's a good way to put it. I mean, overall, they're looking, at the very least, much more interesting. They were just so niche before, which is a shame, because they're such cool models. Okay, Whirlwind. T10. 11 wounds. Vengeance Launcher. Indirect Blast, as per usual. 6+ D6 plus 3. That's like chef's kiss. So you no longer have 2 stupid options, you just have the one. And it's D6 plus 3. No longer 2d6 or 1d6. I can't remember. It was just unideal. D6 plus 3 is a nice amount. BS3, so you're on 4s indirect. And strength 8, -2, 2 damage is pretty good. Pinning and Bombardment. In the shooting phase, after small is shot, if one or more of those attacks made with its Whirlwind Vengeance Launcher scored a hit against an enemy infantry unit, that unit must take a battle shock test. Wowee! Ow, man, I'm feeling pretty cool about the Whirlwinds I converted recently. Get some PBC action. Right, indirect, now you must suffer battle shock. Can't just leave a Gribbly unit on your backfield objective. I like that. Very cool. Very cool. Points permitting, of course. I mean, I guess that's a caveat for all of us. Destructor. Last cannons, strength 12. Hunter killer missile. Predator autocannon, 9, -1, 3. Rapid fire, 2. Oh, that's gangster. Look at that thing just rolling around, like chunking people down with 6 shots. That's cool. Each time this model makes a range attack, increase... Oh, when targeting infantry. Ah, AP2. Okay. AP2 on infantry. Interesting. And is it only for... Oh, it's any range attack, so that includes your heavy bolters. Yeah, so you definitely want the heavy bolters loaded out with your destructors, then. Because that ability is really pushing you in that direction. And the Annihilator. See, look. Vehicle-based last cannon. More strength. Real good. How about that? And each time this model makes an attack allocated to a monster or vehicle, reroll damage rolls of 1. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. I always figured this would be the last cannon geared option, or type of predator. So it makes sense. Hell yeah, cold red meat. I couldn't agree more. It's nice to see some love for these classic Space Marine vehicles. Siege Shield. Didn't expect that. I thought you'd have some siege offensive ability. When making range attacks with this Demolisher cannon, this model can target enemy units within engagement range of it, provided no friendly units are also within engagement range. In addition, when making ranged attacks, this model does not suffer the penalty to hit rolls for being within engagement range. Okay, so you can just shoot your way out of combat if you want to. And Demolisher cannon's D6 plus 3, which is better. Strength 14, nice. AP3 also nice, D6 damage. We have a good volume of shots with blast. So it can shoot a blast weapon in combat because it has a shield. I love it. Very good. Very good. Land Raider we've seen on preview a while ago. Yeah, heavy bolter, sustained hits. Yeah, okay. Assault ramps. Yeah, it's going to be gangster to advance and charge out of a vehicle in the same turn. Wild. Wild? Is it wild, or is it just the way it should have always have been? You know? Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, the Crusader. Okay, so assault ramp, good. Come on. My fear was that only the classic would have that, and that the others would have some weird ability for crusading or for... Okay. So just the armor, the weapons have changed. Hurricane Bolter, rapid fire 6, twin linked. So you have 6, we have 2 Hurricane Bolters, right? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so 6, but twin linked. Gotcha. Twin assault cannon. Yep, makes the sense. It's gonna take some getting used to seeing that AP drop on those those types of heavier weapons. And the Redeemer. This is the one I have built. D6 plus 3, Flamestorm Cannon. So it's not twin linked? But why? There's 2. There's 2 of them. I don't understand. Why would it... Are the God Hammers twin linked? Oh, they're not... They're not... And you only have 1 of them, right? Like, no, 2... Okay, yeah, so I have to look over on that side of the data card. Yeah, 2 Flamestorm Cannons. Cool, 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 cool. So, interestingly, Sponsons are not twin link. Which makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, cool. Happy to have assault ramps on my Land Raider. That's a win. And then we have our Grav tanks. Gladiator Lancer. Each time you smallest up to shoot, you can roll 1 hit, 1 wound, and oh, it's not even or. It's all ands. It's all and rerolls. Wow, that's really good for the line of sight sniper tank situation of this guy. Still 2 shots, hitting on 3s, which is worse, but that Aquilon Optics kind of offsets it with the free reroll. AP4. Look at this premium position of the Gladiator Lancer. Wow. And it's heavy. So you can get your BS2. Or your +1 to hit. Oh, look, they gave it armored hull as the melee weapon. See, when I made house rules for these kind of things, I always opted for, because I did dedicated melee weapons as well for tanks, I always opted for a repulsor field, or impulsor field for these vehicles. I think that would have been much cooler. Gladiator Reaper, Rotating Death. Oh, that's a fun name for this ability. This mouse twin heavy onslaught Allen cannon has sustained hits 2 when targeting infantry. Wow. Jeez, do you have enough dice, guys, to fire this? I don't know. You might not. Rapid fire 4 on the Tempest Bolters, which it has 2 of, right? Yeah. So you have 16 shots and another 12, but hit rolls of 6 have 2 extra shots. That's gonna be a fun... I think it'll be a fun weapon to use. Bahamut, no lance on the Lancer, unplayable. Fair point. Scrap it. Literally unplayable. And the Gladiator Valiant. Ferocious Assault. Each time Small makes an attack, it has its twin last talon. against the monster or vehicle, add 1 to the hit roll. So you have +1 to hit. You lost your 4 shots because you're a twin length style weapon. +1 to hit on... You're not heavy, so at least there's no overlap of perks. I mean, strength 10 isn't terrible. Actually, it might be. Now the last Talon is worse than the last cannon, right? Because we saw the last cannon strength 12. Yeah, this is... I'm sensing a similar pattern to the other Melta dedicated option of the Storm Speeders. Just not as good. Oh, that's a good point, Bahamut. Or Tarot. Yeah, the Meltas are strength 10 are an outlier, right? Because normally they are all 9 across the board. That's what we saw in even the Dreadnoughts multi-Melta, right? Yeah. See, any vehicle-based multi-Melta should be stronger than a normal-based multi-Melta that a Sister of Battle would hold. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of stupid. Oh shit, there's a sequencing issue with this PDF. I'll have to adjust that and re-upload. I'll do that after the stream, guys, if you're very particular about your PDFs. And I'll update the links on the live stream and the YouTube post. Okay, so the repulsor is, yep, T12. Save 3, which makes me very... That does perturb me, because I look at these walkers and I'm like, yo, why is this thing with legs have a 2-up save? And my strong box is like armor save 3. What's going on with this? In any case, you have the last talents from 10. This is a big... This might be my favorite thing we've seen all day, guys. Look at this. Look at this glorious profile. Repulsor defensive array. Just 18 shots, strength 4, no IP. Who gives a shit? 1 damage. The convenience wins. I don't want to roll that piddly shit. This makes my Vans, my Fire Truck Dream list far more enjoyable to play. Okay, everything else weapon-wise seems right in line with everything else we've seen. The ability is Emergency Combat Embarkation. Once per turn in your opponent's charge phase, after enemy unit has selected targets for its charge, but before it makes a charge move, you can select 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that was selected as the target of that charge. Provided that unit is not within engagement range of enemy units, and every model in the unit is wholly within 3 inches of this transport, it can embark within. The charging unit can then select new targets for the charge. Okay, so this is... let me think about this. So, it's once per turn. You have to keep your repulsor alive for this to work. Which, I mean, it is T12, but generally, a balanced list would want to get rid of vehicles while they have the means to get rid of vehicles, just because they have higher toughness, and most infantry can't trade into them as easily as they could trade into other infantry, right? But barring that, this seems like a very niche but powerful ability. Like if you're fighting a very combat-heavy, combat-oriented army like demons, not a lot of ranged weapons perhaps, this might be huge, right? I'm thinking I have even intercessors on an objective or aggressors or whatever, and they want to charge me, well, I'm going back in. And even if you want to charge the vehicle to get on that objective, which is now 3 inches further away, that's how that has to work. Even if they make the charge, your units inside are they're going to be safe because they have to That's just how the or attack sequence works, right? Unless they have 2 units that charge, and you get the idea. It seems niche, but very, very useful. Hey, Darwining. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, a Reaver Believer. Hell yeah, man. I totally agree. I've longed for Reavers to be badass since they were since they debuted, really. Okay. Okay, transports. We got transports. 12 Adeptus Astartes infantry models. Nice! You got room for your characters. How about that? Ah, this is so satisfying to me. Centurions take up 3. Gravis, Jump Pack, and a Wolfen. Wait, I thought this is for Codex compliance people. What's up with this? Takes 2. Okay. I like it. Let's just double check. I was negligent about the Land Raiders. Awesome. Awesome. I'm very pleased to see that gone. The stupid, arbitrary isn't the word, but the stupid, like, rules to deny units from interacting with each other, when by all accounts they should be able to. We still have that now with leaders, and eventually, I'm sure in, like, 2 more editions from now, you'll be able to put any model with any unit. But, you know, baby steps, I suppose. I assume that transport capacity is the same for the others, or... Oh no, these still have larger transports. Okay, 16. Wow, the Repulsor, Damn, the Land Raider Redeemer. How many transport capacities do you have? 14. So everything's gone up. That's very interesting. I guess I'll end up putting some aggressors in a Land Raider. That's so wild. That's so wild to think of. Crazy. Fun, though. Very fun. Advance and charge, right? Advance. Oh, sorry, this can't advance, but it can move, disembark, and then you can move and charge. Very cool. Okay, where were we? Repulsor. Okay, and the Executioner. Yeah, Repulsor's 12 too. Everything's gone up in capacity, which is great. Much more feasible to make use of them. Okay, Macroplasma is looking exactly the same as the Redemptor, right? Yes. Which is what it is. You got the Repulsor defensive array, which I like. Still got some odds and ends small stuff, though. Kicking around on the datasheet. Heavy Laser Destroyer was on preview, strength 16. So it doesn't have Aquilon optics anymore. Instead, each time you make an attack at targets, below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. Which is... I don't know. Aquilon Optics just gave you +1 to hit when you shot your turret. Why this restriction? Why does it have to be a target that is now below half strength? It kind of seems stupid. I see the optic. It's right there. It's right there. God. Don't like that. It has a nice profile, don't get me wrong. Strength 16 is probably the highest strength weapon at range they have. Right, with good AP, AP4, of course, and D6 + 4. This is all very good. It's just, that +1. You're gonna want it to finish things off now, not weaken them. I mean, if you have Odes of Moment, but you're not making the most of Odes of Moment if you're picking a vehicle and shooting this at it, I feel. You want something more units could take advantage of. Or something less efficient could take advantage of. It's all contextual, though. Depends on how things are deployed, right? Okay, let's see the transport capacity of this guy. Oh, still 6. Okay. Well, that's fair, because this is almost a battle tank, right? Than a transport, so... That's cool. That's cool. Rhino. What's the Rhino saying? Oh yeah, we saw this on preview as well on the Warhammer community site. Self-repair, +1 wound. Remember when you had to roll a d6 and only on a 6 you'd get something? T9, 3-up save, firing deck 2. I don't think we've seen any other firing decks on the other tanks, which is interesting. Yes, Francis, because it executes. Because it executes, I get it. And Bahamut is right. Ballistus and then Executioner. That is the order of operations, certainly. They should combine. Yeah, transport capacity's gone up on the Rhino as well. Okay. Okay, interesting. All come down to points, but transports seem incredibly valuable. Razorback ability. Okay, this intrigues me. In your shooting phase, after this model has shot, select one enemy unit it scored one or more hits against that phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly model embarks from this transport, make. Okay, so this is like the what unit was it? The Votan Hecaton Land Fortress had a similar ability, I think. At least, if the perk is not the same, the interaction was the same, if I'm recalling correctly. What's the transport capacity of this? Okay, so you can have a half squad plus a leader. Yeah, and I can put my Primaris models in here now. How cool! How cool! Reroll the wound roll. Pretty good. Twin assault cannon. Yeah, the kit I have only has these two options. Sustained hits 1, twin linked. Oh, last cannon seem worth. Impulsor, assault vehicle. Units that disembark from this transport after it has advanced. Alright, unit. Fuck me. Okay, let's restart. Units can disembark from this transport after it has advanced. Units that do so count as having made a normal move and cannot declare a charge. So you could get more movement because your impulsor can advance, but you yourself cannot charge. But you can never charge anyways when you disembark, unless you have assault ramps. At least for Space Marines. Pretty standard missile for a vehicle, but I guess it's not a dedicated weapon. Kind of like a support weapon. Seems pretty tame. Shield dome is still there. Comms array. Oh, look at that! So you get that command reroll with the comms array within 6 inches of any unit. Okay. Still think the shield dome's better. And drop pod. Seems pretty basic. T7, 8 wounds. Drop pod assault, yeah. Goes into reserves. It can be set up in the reinforcement step of any movement phase, first, second, or third, regardless of any mission rules. That's the key word there. So it seems the mission packs will probably dictate that stipulation. Yeah, when you're set up, you are 9 inches away from enemy models. Cool. Seems fine. Transport 10, so no room for characters if you're doing a max squad. No Gravis, Centurions, or Terminators, but things like Hellblasters or... What other desirable Primaris units are there that I can think of? I suppose any melee unit, potentially. Okay, on to gunships. Oh, we're getting close to the end. Oh my god, we've been going on for so long. My apologies, guys. I just take some time getting lost in the data sheets of all of this. T9 flyer. Just as tough as a rhino. It's so weird. That's so weird. Okay. It has hover, interaction, interceptor. Each time this model makes a range attack against the target that can fly, add 1 to hit. So this is your anti-flyer flyer, right? Makes sense. Icarus Storm Cannon. Anti-fly again. So you have +1 to hit against flyers. Wounding on 2 is re-rolling. Skyhammer missile. Seems pretty good. Good profile for fighting flyers, at the very least. And then we have the gunship for shooting non-flyers, which, yep, adds +1 to hit for... I feel like those abilities are what they've always had. So it's not the biggest gain from one edition, from the new edition shift. Twin assault cannon, rerolling wounds, +1. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not spotting anything spectacular. If I'm missing something, please feel free to spot it out. Alright, so T10. So it is tougher. It's a big chungus in the sky, of course. Armored resilience, -1 damage. Okay. That gives it some legs, certainly. Hurricane bolters, yep. Rapid fire, twin linked. Okay, but these sponsons are twin linked, so I'm very confused about this. Now I have to double check. Sanity check here. So these hurricane bolters are also twin linked, and oh, but it has 2 hurricane bolters, and each hurricane bolter is twin linked. Okay. Interesting. But then the Redeemer is not twin linked. Maybe Flames can't twin link. We still have 2 of them. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. You got your basic multi-melta. Yup. Last cannons. Oh, what's the big value? The transport's the big value. 12. That's a win. And 1 dreadnought. It can still do 1 dreadnought. Each jump pack. Oh, interestingly, it doesn't have the stipulation for excluding other dreadnoughts, right? Unless I missed it. I don't see any, you know, let me throw a Leviathan on here, or a Redemptor. The giant Redemptor. Very interesting. And Hammerfall Bunker. Okay, so the Heavy Bolter Array and Flamer Array all have Defensive Array and Twin Linked. So 6 attacks versus 2d6. So these Flamers are Twin Linked. And ignores cover versus sustained hits 1, because they're Heavy Bolters. Makes sense. And Defensive Array does. Each time an enemy unit is is set up or ends a normal, advance, or fall back move within range of this weapon, if an enemy unit is an eligible target, the bearer can shoot this weapon at that target as if it were your shooting phase. The bearer can shoot up to 4 times in this way in your opponent's movement phase. So, you're hitting on 4s. You're not heavy. Yes, you're always going to hit on 4s. Is that busted? Good. You set up within 36 inches of an objective or some crucial point of the battlefield, and everything that moves onto that you shoot. I mean, you shoot 6 dice at a unit of intercessors on an objective, hitting on 4s, 3 hit, wounding on 3s, 1 wounds at AP 1. Is that egregious? Maybe all 3 wound because you're twin linked, right? Maybe. Is it that egregious? AP 1? I don't know. Maybe it's just fine. You're not heavy because you can't move. Yeah. Yeah, you're not heavy because you can't move. It doesn't make sense to me. You just always have that precise targeting then. That Astartes ballistic skill. That's really funny. Okay, fortification rules. While an enemy unit is only within engagement range of 1 or more of your fortifications, that unit can still be selected as the target of ranged attacks, but each time such an attack is made, unless it is made with a pistol, subtract 1 from the roll. Okay, so you can still shoot it. Yeah, it's fine. These are more like game rules. Strange they're on the datasheet. Models in that unit do not need to take desperate escape tests due to falling back when battle shocked. Yeah, because you're a fortification. Fine. And ceramite cover. Each time a range attack is allocated to a model, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of this fortification, it has the benefit of cover. Oh, that's kind of neat. So you can put this down and give yourself more terrain. Fortifications are always an odd one. They always feel more narrative than competitive, but it's a cool model, Take that missile rack off the top, and you got a cool bunker. Oh yeah, I put scouts last year. Well, before the named characters. Okay, sturdy shotgun, 2 shots, 18 inches. Assault's pretty good. Guerrilla tactics. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is more than 6 inches away from all enemy models, you can remove from. Oh wow! And place it into strategic reserves, like the Raveners, and they infiltrate or scout move 6 inches, which is interesting. Yeah, scouts are gonna scout. Seems totally fine. Sniper scouts. Yeah, this is like the rattling sniper profile. Seems pretty scary, to be honest, right? Each model is equipped with a sniper rifle. Yeah, so you have 5 sniper rifles in the squad, hitting on 3s or 2s if they're stationary. This unit can only be selected as the target of a range attack if they have built-in shrouding. They don't even need the Phobos Librarian. Well, yeah, sniper scouts are kind of scary for those characters without inbones. 2 damage per. I think snipers will be a thing. But I also think they'll just be easier to kill characters in general. Once the bodyguard units are gone, that's kind of it for them. And the Scout Bike Squad. Okay, Scout move 9 inches only, of course, outflank. When arriving from strategic reserves, it can be set up within your opponent's deployment zone. Okay, so you don't have to wait till turn 3 or... Yeah, turn 3 to do that. Which is a small perk, not bad. D5, 3 wounds. A sturdy shotgun and twin bolt gun. Okay, that's pretty nice. So you got 2 shots, twin linked. And then you got at almost, 6 inches closer though. 2 shots again. And Landspeeder Storm. Storm Assault. Each time a unit disembarks from this model after it's made a normal move, it's still eligible to declare a charge. Well, how about that? You got your Terminators from the Land Raider and your Scouts from the Storm, Landspeeder Storm. That can disembark and charge. Very cool. Oh, is that right, Verado? The Scout Bikers look good with those grenade launchers, huh? Do they all have grenade launchers? Or is it only... Oh, I see. You can just switch them all to grenade launchers. Well, good looking out. I appreciate that. Let's take a look-see at the grenade launcher. Yeah, so each one could have a... Yep. Yep, I'd agree with that. That is pretty good. Oh, is that true, Darwining? The Rhino chassis cannot take Primaris. Is that true? Did I misunderstand what I was looking through? Rhino chassis cannot take Primaris. It cannot transport Jump Pack Wolfen. Oh my god, okay. Never mind. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That is mondo lame. Were they literally just being like... like, was Warhammer community literally trolling? I don't want to assume incorrectly, but I feel like the narrative was Primaris keyword won't be restricting transports. And if it's all if that's how that was positioned and if it was claimed by them, this feels like such a troll thing to say. Well, I'm glad I could bash my tactical squad at least. To have some play with my Razorback. That's definitely a particular situation to myself, though. It's an overall bummer. Actually, now I want to double check. Land Raiders didn't have that wording, right? No. Okay. Armory for missing weapons. Grav cannon. Everything we've seen, right? None of this is secret stuff. Seems pretty fine. We got our named characters. Gilman we've seen. Seems really good. Really good. Marnius Calgar. See, he's living the dream. He's got his honor guard with him always. I want that. Love to have my chapter master have an honor guard. So, Gravis T6, he's got that captain movement. 6 wounds. They have 2 up saves as well. Gauntlets of Ultramar twin-linked pistols. Yeah, so 4 shots. Rerolling wounds. Okay, that's not bad. 4 shots seems high. Well, he's a named character. He gets special privilege. And in melee, 6 attacks. Also twin-linked. Strength 8. AP 3 damage. Yeah, he can fight. Damn, AP 3 damage is a very good profile. I haven't seen a lot of that. And Victrix power swords are mastercrafted power swords. With maybe more attacks. Potentially. Inspiring Leader. When this model is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare charge in a turn in which it advanced. Wow. Or fell back. So he can shoot and charge when he advances or falls back. Crazy good. What can he lead? Oh, what's this? Why does he get to lead these non-Gravis units when he's a Gravis guy? What's going on here? Like, what is this? This is stupid. Why is he like this? Why is he rules for thee, not for me? Like, come on. Oh my god. Is it because of them? His honor guard bridges the gap of what he can lead. Stupid. Master Tactician, at the start of your command phase, you just gain CP. Yeah, that's cool. Like the Swarm Lord, I think, had that similarly. And while this unit contains one or more Victrix Honor Guard, this unit's Marnie's Calgar model has a Feel No Pain. I like that. You know, it doesn't make them more resilient, it just gives him precision. It protects him from precision a little bit. Similar to the Hive Guard. I like that interaction of models. Jeez. Blade Guard Veteran, Assault Intercessor, Infernus. Like, look at this. Stupid. Captain Sicarius. Artisan Plasma Pistol. Always overcharged, never hazardous. Very cool. Telesaurian Tempest Blade. Not bad. 6 attacks. Okay. Lethal hits also. Very cool. Because he's a swords bro. While this model's leading a unit, that model's the unit of the Scout's ability. And ranged weapons have the Assault ability. Oh, so he's very... Yeah, lead from the front. I like it. What does he lead, though? Assault, Command, Stern Guard, Tactical, Vanguard Veteran. Okay, so what's going on here? So it's he's firstborn. But these guys aren't firstborn, right? Stern Guard Veterans are certainly not firstborn. Tactical Squad. An Intercessor Squad. Oh, Tacticus. Okay. So this armor is not the same as this armor. But it... Oh, no. Okay, so they have it. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Okay. So it's just weird. Why is he leading Stern Guard Veterans? Just because Stern Guard pairs with... See, like, so they're perfectly happy to hand wave away the restriction when it suits them for Primaris versus Firstborn, right? Like, you can see it right here. It's just on the writing's just plain to see. For Captain Sicarius, when they want him to interact with a Tacticus unit, oh yeah, no problem. But for your Rhinos, nope. You don't get to do that. Stupid. Lightning Assault. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of this model, if this model's unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move up to 6 inches, not d6. Oh, it's once per turn also. He seems very good. He's a captain, so you can put other characters with him, like an Apothecary to keep bringing models back. I think Apothecaries could do that, right? But the Primaris Apothecary, that's the only one that can join units, could only join Primaris units, which would be the Stern Guard. Okay. White Scars. Oh no, sorry, we have a lot more Ultramarines to look through. Chief Librarian Tigurius. Oh no, we have Uriel Ventress first. Pretty standard captain stat line from the looks of it. He has his special bolt gun, mastercrafted. Seems to be the only difference there. Sword of Ideus is a sustained hits 1. Very nice. That's always satisfying in melee. 6 attack, strength 6. Okay. Mastercrafted with sustained hits. That's a better sword than the Tempest Blade. Okay, Unorthodox Strategist. While this model is leading a unit, you can target that unit with a stratagem, even if that stratagem has already been used on another unit from your army this phase. In addition, this model's unit can still be selected as the target of a stratagem while battle shocked. That's a super... I mean, if one exception wasn't good enough, he gives you 2. Master of the Fleet during the declared battle formation step, if your army includes this model, select one out of the story's infantry unit from your army. That unit gains the deep strike ability. Very good. You just give deep strike to a unit you need. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a lot of him because of these 2 abilities. Stratagem use, even while battle shocked, and even when it's already been used. I mean, thankfully it doesn't have rights of battle as well, so that stratagem isn't free. But this seems good, just because of, like, rapid ingress possibilities are now more opened up with Master of the Fleet. Very interesting. So what can he lead? At least he's more consistent. Okay, Chief Librarian Units. Oh, he's got the... Not Smite. Storm of the Emperor's Wrath. Blast Psychic. Okay, so D6. +1 if you're shooting at a squad of 5. Hits on 2, 6, -2, 2. That's a pretty good profile. And then the focused variant is Hazardous. Double the shots, but still just as variable. Okay, yeah, just double the shots. Playing with fire. Rod of Tigurius is a force weapon. Strength 7. It seems like he's a lot stronger than a normal librarian in terms of his melee. I want to take a look at that. Yeah, normal force weapon strength 6, so he's a touch stronger. Still D3 -1. Oh, he's -2. Yeah, he's pretty good. Hood of Hellfire. Oh, you feel no pain 4+ against psychic attacks and mortal wounds. Very good. Yeah, he's got a better psychic hood than everyone else. Master of Prescience, psychic. While this model is leading a unit, each time an attack targets that unit, subtract 1 from the roll. Yeah, that's what he did before, from what I recall. In addition, once per battle round, you can target that unit with one of the following stratagems for 0 CP. Counter-offensive, Heroic Intervention, and Fire Overwatch and Go to Ground. Counter-offensive and Heroic Intervention are both 0 CP, are both 2 CP stratagems. That's a very, very good ability. Okay, what can he lead? Yep, all Primaris. Chaplain Cassius. He's got a weird combi weapon. Oh, but his has AP because it's a named combi weapon. And his auto hits also. Okay. Catechism of Death. While this model's leading a unit, melee weapons equipped have devastating wounds. And Inspired Retribution. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model has not fought this phase, okay, fight on death on a 4+. And he leads Firstborn, I assume. Yeah, with the exception of Sternguard. It's weird, right? The Sternguard got a new kit. And now the distinction is gone. They exist in both worlds, right? Whereas every other unit in Tacticus armor is not an old kit redone. So they're only, it's feels a bit arbitrary. Not arbitrary, it's not the right word, but it feels a bit lame. Sergeant Kronos is still a tank commander by the looks of it. C models reverse. Yeah, so he can go inside of a vehicle. All the firstborn vehicles, okay. And while he's equipped in the vehicle, they have a BS of 2+, and when he shoots, he can reroll 1 wound roll. Well, that feels kind of moderate. Doesn't feel that crazy. When he disembarks, he has lone operative. That's funny. He has an awesome servo arm with 3 attacks. And Sergeant Tellian. Oh, yeah, the Scout Commander. Or I guess the Scout. Yeah, the Scout Commander. He has a Quietus Precision Bolt Gun. Well, long-range bolt gun for sure. Voice of Experience. While this model is leading a unit, improve the objective control characteristic of models in that unit by 1. And they have +1 to hit. And he leads scouts only? Yes. Well, he can lead a sniper squad. Giving them +1 to hit. And while he's leading the unit, each time that you select to shoot or fight, select one of the... Oh my god! Not bad. He can make a pretty spooky sniper unit, you know? Oh yeah, oh, wow, I didn't expect to see these guys. Yeah, Tyrannic War Veterans. Anti-Tyranids on their weapons. Makes the sense. Tyrannic War Veterans have devastating wounds when targeting Tyranids. Okay, this is kind of a boring datasheet by comparison. Okay. Then we have Corsaro Khan. Moonfang. Ah, this. I love this. This is awesome. Devastating wounds with precision. What a swordsman. For the Khan, while this model is leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped have assault, and melee weapons gain lance. Okay, that's awesome. And he can join, I'm assuming, just the tacticist units. Only the... I was going to say only the melee-oriented ones, but the Stern Guard veterans are here. Okay, so... And Trophy Taker. When he destroys a character, you gain 1 CP. Which he's kind of kitted out to do. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Oh, Captain Lysander, now with his first name on display. I feel like his old datasheet didn't have his first name. Okay, Fist of Dorn. Oh, this is the Thunderhammer I wish we had. AP 3, 3 damage, Strength 10. 5 attacks, devastating wounds, yeah. Icon of Obstinacy. While small is leading unit, each time an attack targets that unit, if the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than or equal to the toughness of that unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Okay, so if you're about to wound on 4s, you're pushed to 5s. If you're wounding on 3s, you're pushed to 4s. If you're wounding on 2s, which would require you to use strength 8 weapons against Terminators, right? Oh no, 10. Then you're pushed to 3s. That's a pretty good ability. That ain't nothing. And Rampart, once per battle, at the start of any phase, he can use his Rampart ability, giving him a 2-up invulnerable save for the phase. Nice. Allow him to survive and punch back something that could very well kill him. I'm thinking like a Greater Demon or something. That's pretty epic. What can he lead, though? Yeah, Terminators, of course. Tor Garadon. T6. Okay, so yeah, Artificer Grav Gun is 5 -1, 2 damage, 2 shots, 18 inches in a vehicle. 2 Hand of Defiance, his big fist, strength 12 -2, 2 damage. Damn, that's a heavy hitting fist. 5 attacks, weapon skill 2. Yeah, because fists aren't unwieldy anymore. Crazy. Signum Array. While the small's leading a unit, ranged weapons have lethal hits and ignore cover. And each time this model makes an attack that targets... Yeah, so each time he, just him, not his unit, attacks a vehicle, monster, or fort, improve the strength, armor, and damage by 2. So AP 4 against monsters and vehicles, flat 4. Oh, man! Yeah, his fist is pretty frightening. You don't want to get fisted by Tor Garadon, that's for sure. And you might as well put them with Eradicators, I suppose, if you're gonna... They have fists, you have fists, it'll be a fist party. Probably want Bolt Storms, which makes sense for fists anyways, it's more thematic. Then you can benefit from the lethal hits also. And then your Flamers won't be having a redundant ability. Yeah, it's pretty gangster, him rolling with a bunch of Bolt Storm aggressors, that's pretty cool. Pedro. Rapid Fire 2, sustained hits. So 4 shots at 12 inches, sustained hits, strength 5. Oh, it's mastercrafted with pretty good volume. That's a little frightening. Fist of Retribution, 5 attacks, weapon skill 2, strength 8. Oh man, that profile. It's so good. Oh, that's the old... It's like a Thunderhammer. It's like the 8th edition Thunderhammers that were so glorious. But it hits on 2s. Like, oh god. Okay, he's a Feeling of Pain 6 for being Pedro. And Oath of Rin, his first ability, once per battle at the start of either player's command phase. This model can use this ability when it does until the end of the turn. Add 1 to the attack's characteristic of weapons equipped by models in this model's unit. So plus... Okay. So just for 1 turn, you can give his unit more attacks. Interesting. And to the last, while this model's leading a unit, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll if that unit is below its starting strength. Oh, that's very thematic. That's so cool, actually. It's a very Crimson Fist. It's not super OP either. Because you have to lose stuff to gain it. At least I think so. That's how it reads to me. Command Squad, Stern Guard Veteran Squad, and Tactical Squad. Yeah, very thematic choices there. But we have that odd situation with the Stern Guard. They live in both worlds. Oh yeah, and we have the successor rule that we saw on Gabriel Seth from that Space Marine preview. Forge Father Fearos. Gorgon's Wrath, Heavy Bolter, Sustained 2. And always BS2. His Medusan Manipuli. Extra attacks there with 3 damage. 2. Yeah, it's pretty potent combat from Forge Father Fearos here. He Rites of Tempering. While he leads a unit, that unit has a 5-up Feeling of Pain. Awesome. All this model's within 3 inches of 1 or more of its destroyer's vehicles. It has a lone operative ability. Makes sense. Master of the Forge. If in your command phase, select 1 friendly against Astartes. Oh, so he repairs 3 lost wounds. And he gives a +1 to hit as well. Seems pretty good. Give a unit a 5-up Feeling of Pain. And it's going to be a Gravis unit, right? So you have them roll with heavy intercessors, and they're just gonna last. Because heavy intercessors also are resistant to damage 1 weapons a little bit as well, which, I know, they're 3 wound guys, so you're not really encouraged to use 1 damage weapons, but it's something. Vulcan Histan. How's the Forge Father doing? Or that. Not the Forge Father. What was his title? Oh, it pains me that I can't remember it. Oh, yeah, he's a Forge Father. Gauntlet of the Forge, 12-inch Flamer, D6 plus 3, with more strength and AP than a normal Flamer. Pretty good. 6 attacks, weapon skill 2, 6, minus 2, 2. That's a good fairly threatening profile for infantry, which is good. Forge Father ability. In your shooting phase, select 1 unit within 24 inches and invisible to this model. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly at this Astartes model makes a ranged attack with a Torrent or Melta weapon, and targets an enemy unit, you can reroll the wound roll. Ah, yes! So, it's more or less what he did before. Yeah, reroll wounds. But it's all units against a single target, rather than units within range of him. Which I think is more, it's easier to take advantage of, but less abusable. Seeker of Lost Relics. At the start of the battle, select 1 objective marker on the battlefield. While this model is within range of that objective marker, it has objective control characteristic of 10. Wow. And a leadership characteristic of 5. And the Feel No Pain 4+ ability. Oh yeah, he has Feel No Pain 6 normally, for being a tough salamander man. Wow, they're really tuning up these named characters. But I suppose that's the trend, like in 9th edition anyways, and 8th before. So they've always been better performers. Okay, he's got Assault, Infernus, because they're Flamer dedicated. Tactical Squad. No more Stern Guard, though, eh? Classic Stern Guard used to have a pretty heavy flame configuration you could use with them. But I guess their their new datasheet rather, removes that option completely, so yeah, that is what it is. Infernus Squad is here instead. Adrax. How is Adrax? Big Daddy Adrax. Dracus is Pistol, ignores cover, Torrent, D6 plus 3, 4, minus 1. So it's got AP and better quantity, better average. God. The amount of times I've rolled just the 1. It's so underwhelming. It's good. It's a, praise where it's due. It's a nice quality of life stat. His hammer is nice. 5 attacks. Uses it at weapon skill. Strength 10, AP 2. AP 2 isn't amazing, but the 3 damage is pretty spice. Onto the anvil while he's leading a unit. Yeah, he gives it reroll wounds. I think he used to give them +1 to wound. But rerolls is well, actually, given the fact that Odes of Moment will work regardless of detachment, yeah, it might be better to have add 1 to wound. Because now you're giving him a rule that just kind of overlaps with a rule you might have elsewhere, and now it's not as synergistic. Lord of the Pyroclasts, while enemy unit is within engagement range of this model, have the objective control characteristic of models in the enemy unit. Okay. Invulnerable save 4+ for being a captain. And right, so this is kind of what I expected. To be honest, I stopped using Adrax in my games. I haven't used him in forever. So I'm not super bummed out that he no longer works with my aggressors. Yeah, because now he's Tacticus can only work with Tacticus type situation he's under. Although he doesn't have Tacticus, but he wears Tacticus, and so he must roll with Tacticus. Yeah, so he couldn't. Yeah. It is what it is. And Cave and Shrike. Oh, he's our last one, I think. Okay. Movement 12, T4, that's fine. He has Fly, I'm sure. Yup. Blackout. Precision bolt pistol, 18 inches. Nice. Strength 5, -1, 2 damage. 2 shots. 2-shot 18-inch precision pistols, not bad. Raven's Talons, also precision. I'm liking the use of precision on these assassin-style characters. 7 attacks, twin-linked. 5 AP2, 2 damage. Not bad. Throw him at a squad with a character in there. 7 attacks on the leader. Hitting on 2s, re-rolling wounds. AP2, 2 damage. It should do some work. Okay, it's got Deep Strike, leader, of course. Lone operative. Also, even after his squad's out, he gets to live the dream and be an assassin. And he has stealth. Shadow Master. While this model's leading a unit, models in this unit cannot be targeted by ranged attacks. Wow. Unless they are within 12 inches. Crazy good. Crazy. He's so good. Oh, man. It's probably very fun to use him. That's always been my stance on Shrike. Always. Like, he's such a dynamic character. It seems like that's been kept intact here. Echo of the Raven Spire. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this model's unit is not within engagement range of any enemy models, you can remove from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. Wow. And what does he lead? Vanguard Veterans with jump packs, Assault Squad. Crazy. So you could rapid ingress him after your opponent's moved. They're all outside of 12 inches because that's where you've placed them. They can't shoot, they can't charge, and then you get to move 12 inches with your jump packs because you have them and make a guaranteed charge and just take the head off of someone with all that precision from Shrike plus the unit. That seems incredible. That seems incredible. If I was a Raven Guard purist who loved to run Shrike and, yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, well, we did it, guys. We did it. We got to the end of this giant PDF. Like I mentioned, there is a sequencing issue with the Land Raiders, was it? It was in the armor units. No, not the Land Raiders, the Repulsors. Yeah. So I'll adjust this and re-upload it. I'll just update the links for those who are very particular about the PDF being in sequence. But yes, takeaways. Named characters seem super OP. A lot of really good abilities. Speeders, Hail Strike, Thunder Strike seem very good, very good. A lot of the units I was hoping would be good are at least decent, which I'm satisfied with. Reavers seem like they have a place. Hellblasters, you know, my fear with all the first generation Primaris stuff is that it would all be positioned in a very poor light relative to the new stuff, and I don't know if that's... I'm not feeling like that's the case. How about you guys? Seems to me like the Primaris stuff is... the newer stuff isn't being overly pushed, you know? I look at the Stern Guard veterans and I'm like, oh, like, they're okay. Infernus Squad, they're okay. Yes, Tasteful Avenger, I agree. It is weird he can't lead Reavers. I wonder if that's because they don't have jump packs. And that's just the way they want him to operate. He has to go with something that can keep up with his movement. Yeah, personally, like the benefits, right? The benefits of having a restricted leadership pairing is that you'd be able to better balance things, right? You always know this character, this unit, this leader could only ever affect these units with his leadership buffs. So maybe from a game balance point of view, we could make the argument that it creates, at the very least, an easier game system to manage. And there's a whole bunch of moving parts to this game, right? So that's a fair argument. But from a beer and pretzels narrative, thematic play point of view, that you still want to play with the intentions of matched play, of balance, right? Like maybe that's I don't know, maybe you should have a more open system. I don't know if there's a fair argument for that or not. Yeah, captains are not one per detachment. It seems like it's rule of 3 again for everything, which might go away sooner than later, once we see like crazy abuse of things as per 8th edition. I don't know. I also don't love that you could have like Shrike and 3 other Raven Guard captains with jump packs, and each one has a unit of like, I don't know, Vanguard veterans or assault squads that they're rolling with. That's a good point, Bahamut. Biker captain. He's an enlightened individual because he doesn't care if you're Primaris or not. He's a pretty cool dude. Look at that. Bike squad, Outrider squad. Yeah, I think a jump pack unit is coming. It's inevitable. But I guess I'll wrap up the stream here, guys. Thanks to everyone who stopped by and who liked the stream. It's much appreciated. This one went on forever. It's such a huge PDF, and it's done a number on my voice here. It's starting to feel a bit raspy. So I'll give it a good rest over the weekend, and probably we can do something similar for Chaos. However, I'll be honest, the next few days of these based on the schedule that GW has set, or maybe the schedule was leaked, I can't remember. We're getting way more books in like these per day, so I don't know if we can go through all of them. So finally, I would enjoy going through the armies I collect, checking out, Slanesh Demons for Chaos Space Marines. Could be kind of cool to look at. But in any case, they should be a much smaller PDF than what we have here. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna give it a rest. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and I hope that you find these PDFs enjoyable.